Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the GBYWN Australia podcast for part 4 with my interview with none other than former ICWS heavyweight champion, WZWA heavyweight champion, SPWS heavyweight champion, GBYWN Australian heavyweight champion, ICWS hardcore champion, none other than the Cannibal, Dan Zeplin.
And general excellent guy.
Yes.
You forgot that
too.
credential.
That works in there too. Yeah. Fantastic. Maybe we should stop and I'll start again and add that in.
Yeah, please do.
No,
lazy.
Okay.
Shit production values.
So basically, Cannibal.
Yes.
This is the Q&A section. Oh. So we'll do a Q&A, then I'm going to go into some word association.
I feel like I'm going to be bad at that. I think I'm going to have to pause and think for 5 minutes about everything.
It's not going to have to be like one word answer. You can just think of a story or what you think of them in general.
You might have to edit this one, to be honest.
Okay, so I farted then burped. Here we go.
There we go.
Daniel Johnston, first question.
Yes.
How much, if at all, does wrestling outside the local community influence you?
So he means like indie wrestling, like American sort of stuff.
Yeah, I guess he means like what has influenced you as far as what you watched? Because I know when you watch, you love Rey Mysterio and John Cena, but
used to, not now.
Back in the day, when you first started. But was there any other ones out there that influenced you? Maybe with your moveset, the Devil Lock DDTs, etc.
Yeah, well, I don't know where I got that move from, to be honest. I think this is not to answer the question, but in relation to the Devil Lock DDT, I think I was just looking for a move that I could hit on everyone. Because I didn't feel too... My finisher before that was the sliced bread, and I didn't feel super comfortable hitting that on everyone, because to hit my own finisher, I basically have to rely on the other person doing the sliced bread to flip me over enough so I don't land on my neck, because I actually can't backflip by myself.
That also relays onto a question that Barrett has for you, which is, what made you switch from the rock bottom to the... I don't know how to pronounce that, but the Shiranui, the sliced bread to the Devil Lock DDT.
Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, so to add on what I was saying, the rock bottom was my first finisher.
So was it for me. Same for me.
There we go. I think most of us back in UWF, when I was using that, were sort of similar size. We were kids. I was still the smallest one, but the other guys didn't really tower over me or anything. So yeah, I thought rock bottom was a cool, easy move to hit. I didn't want anything too technical back then, since I didn't really know what I was doing. So yeah, I used that. A version of the stunner was also another finisher of mine. Except instead of jumping to my butt, I jumped to my knees, which looked quite terrible, to be honest.
What was it called?
Something shock, I think. I can't remember the name of it now. Something electrically related.
Something to do with voltage.
Yeah, something to do with electricity, because voltage was obviously on my name.
Taser, voltage, rock bottom.
High five.
Fucking dog.
Just high five.
Okay.
Yeah, and then getting into the era where we were doing sort of more specky sort of moves, more impressive stuff, I moved into the Shiranui, as he called it. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. I always called it the sliced bread. The sliced bread is typically done from the turnbuckle, where the wrestler sort of runs up the turnbuckle.
But you did a standing one.
Yeah, I just did a standing one. I moved into that because it was an impressive move. Everyone already always popped for it. Had a lot of fun doing that, but as I said, I didn't really trust everyone to
do the motion of carrying you over.
Yeah, carry me over for it. So I moved into the Devil Lock DDT. As I said, I don't remember where that sort of came from. I was watching a lot of indie wrestling at the time.
For those playing at home, it's called the Fuck You Cunt.
Yeah, the Fuck You Cunt. That's what my finishing name is called. Finishing name?
Finishing move.
Move. That's the name for it.
Stumbling over your words again.
I'm terrible with my words tonight.
Fucking hell.
Anyway, yeah, I was watching a lot of indie wrestling at that point. I think it probably just came from there, basically. But yeah, it's a move I can hit on everyone. I don't need to lift down anyone. All the opponent needs to do is bend over and then land on the head. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like maybe I should have a more impressive finisher, because, you know, the Devillock DDT is, you know, when you think about it, it's a brutal move, but visually it's not really that brutal, unless the person sells it like really incredibly well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have been trying to sort of on the sideline think of a new finisher, but at the same time, the Devillock DDT, or the fuck you cunt, is quite over. You know, when I get someone in a headlock, they know that, you know, I'm trying to go for Devillock DDT. Yeah, I think it's over as my finisher, so I think I'll probably just keep it as that.
Keep it as the fuck you cunt.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just looking through to see if I can find out the name of the old stunner that you used to use.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, question from me. Who in WWA/ICWS do you wish you could have hung out with more often and become better mates with?
Oh,
it was called the Power Surge.
Power Surge, yeah, that
Power
was the...
Surge,
yeah,
there you go.
yeah.
You beat
No,
Blaze with it.
that was the Rock Bottom.
Is that what it was called, the Power
Pretty sure.
Surge? Really?
Yeah, pretty sure that was the Rock Bottom.
Shit, okay, we'll have to keep looking.
Yeah, I'm not sure what this tunnel was called. Maybe it didn't have a name. No, I'm pretty sure it did. I don't know.
Maybe the shock treatment or something like that, I don't know.
Shock treatment.
Supercharger.
Supercharger was...
Supercharger.
Yeah, sorry, Supercharger was the Rock Bottom.
You defeated Big Mac with the Supercharger on
fuck
August
you, Big Mac.
31st, 2008 at Damage Control.
There we go. You know your facts. Yeah, so Supercharger was the Rock Bottom.
Okay.
The Power Surge was the shitty stunner.
Okay, fantastic.
What was
So yeah,
the
who would you like to have got better mates with and hung out with a bit more?
From the early years, UWF, ICW?
Anytime,
Just
really.
anytime. Good question. Maybe Justin and Mike, they come to mind. It sort of feels like Justin and Mike, they were within the group, but they were still sort of separated in their own little clan within the group, if you know what I mean. You know, when they rocked up to a show, it was always like, oh, here are the Jew fellows, Zibby, Justin and Mike. So they're always sort of a group, if you know what I mean. I never really got to know them personally. I am better mates with Mike now. I still don't know Zib too well. I sort of know Justin, but not too well again. Sort of, we never hang out.
Yeah.
You know, one-on-one or within a little group or anything.
Yeah.
I've hung out with Mike a few times. But yeah, I'd like to know those guys better. Yeah, they come to mind. I'm sure there's...
Well, I'm sure you and Delcano should sort out a time to get together and fucking get on the green, man.
There you go.
Let's
There you
get
go. Sounds like
blazed.
a plan.
Yeah, man.
That's it.
That sounds sick.
But yeah, pretty much everyone, I would say. Like, I want to be friends with everyone. It's I'm sure it sounds a bit cheesy saying that, but yeah, I love getting to know the guys that get into the ring with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love to hang with everyone, basically.
Excellent.
So this is to anyone who's listening. If you are in the Fed, but we don't really hang out, we're gonna hang out soon.
Do it.
Message me.
Do it. Bacardi and Coke. Do it. Okay. Hydro.
Great.
How did you first get the taste for human flesh? And how do you best describe it for us at home?
Okay, the taste of human flesh is a lot of people say it's sort of like pork but a little sweeter.
Well, I heard it was a bit like chicken, but...
Yeah, it's not really like chicken.
No.
That's a bit of a myth.
Uh-huh.
This is based on real facts, by the way.
Okay.
I've researched this before.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's not really like chicken. A lot of people say it's a bit like chicken, but it's not really. The closest comparison is veal, actually.
Veal?
Yeah, veal. Apparently it's quite like veal, but a little sweeter. How did I first get my taste? Well, I can't tell you that, can I? I can't admit to crimes on the internet. This is an open forum. I can't admit to such things.
Oh, my first taste for human flesh was licking pussy, man.
There you go.
That's
a bit different though, because it has like that sort of smell, that sort of taste. Like, it's not really like the rest of flesh.
Yeah,
like if you cooked up a bitch, it wouldn't. The whole thing wouldn't taste like pussy.
If you cooked up a bitch.
Yeah, that's my new catchphrase.
That's terrible. If you cooked up a bitch.
That's my new catchphrase.
Well, with the Cannibal Dan Zeppelin, every fight is a food fight.
Stole my line. You love that line, don't you?
Oh, man.
I remember saying
I was in tears laughing.
Yeah, I remember saying that to you the first time, and ever since then, you've always...
Keep bringing it up.
I've got to do that in a promo sometime.
You should. Hydro.
Yes, you're my favourite opponent.
When in the Elite Alliance, who did you think would most likely destroy it, and why was it Hydro?
Well,
he didn't think that, did he, cunt?
Yeah,
because he didn't do it.
And I knew what was going to happen.
You got
from
your
the start,
ass
really.
kicked, and then you disappeared to go make it as an actor over East. Try to make it as an actor.
There's probably no point talking to him because he always asks these questions, but he never listens.
Yeah, he's a fucking cockhead.
Yeah, but well, the answer to that is, I always knew who was going to be, the end game really.
He was privy to discussions over who.
Yeah, because we discussed it for a long, long time. If you listen to the last part of the podcast, we chatted about that. But yeah, basically, before the EA even started, we knew how it was going to end early. So I already knew what was going on.
Alright, getting away from his bullshit, I'm chiming in with a question.
Alright.
Do you prefer to be a face or a heel? And secondary, do you feel your heel work in WCWA eclipsed your baby face work in ICWS?
No, because I don't really think they're comparable, to be honest.
That's what I thought. It's too hard to compare.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, as a face in ICWS, I was sort of like the heart and soul of the Federation. When, for example, when SPWS came in, I was like, what are you guys doing here? I'm sick of you guys. I defended ICWS as the Federation.
And when XCW came in, same thing.
Yeah, same thing there.
First one to be like, fuck you, motherfucker.
Yeah, so I was like, the face of the company. In more ways than one. I was a face and the face of the company. But yeah, then as a heel, obviously I was such a big part of the EA, which was the major heel group in WWA, of course.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I can't really compare both of them. I think they were both really good runs individually.
Yeah.
If I had to choose one, more fun or whatever, I might say the heel one.
I think everyone really chooses heel because it's just more fun. You get to be a dickhead.
Yeah, that's it. You can do whatever you want, really.
Yeah.
As a heel, you can, kick people in the dick. You can, yell at people in the crowd, or whatever you want. You can do whatever you want. You're not really restricted.
Do what you want. You're in charge of the match most of the time because you're setting the pace basically.
Yeah.
But
whereas when you're a face, you've got to sort of try and do the right thing.
Like every time I'm a babyface, I've got to wrestle so hard. Like
in
ICWS,
the babyface has got to fight to win to try and get the crowd behind.
Being a heel, I can just get away with
you can do anything,
doing whatever. But as a babyface, I work so hard in those matches.
Oh yeah,
it just takes a lot out of me.
That's it. Yeah.
But I mean, I think even you'll agree. Like when you were a babyface in ICWS, you would see those matches and see how many different great maneuvers you were doing. All the high flying, Hurricane Ranas, different like crazy moves that maybe some of us hadn't seen before. Whereas in WCWA, you're kind of like a bit more. You do your running clothesline to the seated opponent. You do the back senton splash. You do a couple of other things, but you're not as flashy as you are when you're a babyface.
Yeah, it's a good point actually. I've never really thought of that before. Yeah.
It's kind of like you become more of a ground wrestler.
Yeah,
when you're a heel, but when you're a babyface, you do the Hurricane Ranas over and over.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so when you're a face, I do agree with that. You've got to work harder, don't you?
Yeah.
So you've got to try and get the crowd behind you. You've got to try and do moves that they like. You've got to try and pump them up, stuff like that. Whereas when you're a heel, you're basically automatically booed as soon as you walk out the curtain, as long as your character is established. Basically,
what a heel is supposed to do is spoil everything for the fan.
Yeah, and that's fairly easy to do, really. You can walk out and flip everyone off. I'm not saying that's the best way to be a heel. That's a bit cheap, but that's all you need to do. As a heel, you can do anything really, and you can get by.
Get through with just that. Okay, Hydro. When munging down on a human body, are there any parts to stay away from or target first?
Stay away from. You don't want to eat like your kidneys and liver because they're that's full of waste products and stuff like that.
But if you cook them up,
it can help. But it.
I like a bit of liver.
A bit of that's the worst part to go for, man.
No, have you eaten cooked liver? It's very nice. Not human.
Yeah, but human.
Oh,
human.
I haven't tried
it's
human liver.
yeah, animals. Animals it's a little better because animals are animals. But yeah, for human, liver is one of the worst parts to go for, man.
Is that because that's where all the wee comes from?
Well, yeah, basically it's filled with waste products, so it can be.
I wouldn't mind a bit of bladder.
Yeah, yeah, nice pick.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, well, it's fairly dirty for a human to eat all the waste products of another human, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, the best bits to go for are like a nice thigh ham, or like a if it's a female, a nice chest steak or something like that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But yeah, you want to stay away from like your liver, which is filled with waste products, and the eyes. You don't want to eat the eyes. They're like filled with acids that are unhealthy for humans.
And not the acid that you all know about.
No,
not
see,
that acid.
see, I am the cannibal. I've got the evidence to prove all this.
He is the cannibal, not
I
the
bet
cannonball.
you weren't expecting that answer.
Yeah,
Hydro.
Yeah, Hydro.
Yeah,
you
I'm
fucking retard.
I'm actually quite well knowledged on cannibals.
Okay.
Because I am one.
Because you are.
I am one.
You are the cannibal.
Yeah.
Hydro. Okay. Rumours are that you and Alice are a couple in real life too. Any truth to that?
No. No. But, well, because Alice isn't a real character in real life, is she?
Good point.
The
girl that portrays the character.
Yeah, the girl that
Alice.
portrays the character. Yes, I am dating her.
She munches on your knob from time to time.
Yeah, not a munch.
Not a munch.
Because
Okay.
I feel like that implies teeth. But
Okay, gotcha.
But yeah.
No teeth, girls. Any girls listening? There's no girls listening.
Yeah. Well,
but, no
Rihanna
teeth.
might listen if I make her.
She won't. She'll listen in the background.
Yeah,
while
she'll
she's
be
doing
like on her
something else.
laptop looking
Yeah.
at fashion websites or
Yeah.
something.
Okay. The last one from Hydro, thank fuck. If you had to
Yeah.
form a new group in WCWA, who would be in it and why would Hydro be the leader?
Good question. If I had to form a new group, who would be in it? I would go for myself and Deacon.
Yeah?
Yeah, because I know Deacon tends to get a lot of praise on these
Everyone's
podcasts.
getting fucking hard on from Alex
Yeah,
Stone.
yeah. In all these
loves
podcasts,
him.
everyone
Luke
loves
Monet
Deacon.
loves him.
But I have a different reason for that, which you are aware of.
I'm aware.
When Deacon has recently turned heel, he was a babyface with Kyle
For 18 months.
Yeah, and he recently turned heel, and his original idea for his character when he turned heel was an evil clown. And basically that sort of fits in with the direction that I was going to be going, which was sort of like a carny-based.
Well, wouldn't that be great?
character.
A Black Carnival 2.0 with
Yeah.
Dark Ice, the Cannibal doing the carny thing, and Deacon the Clown. That would have been really cool.
Yeah,
I believe
yeah,
that
that's
was an
it.
idea at one stage. It
Yeah,
was.
I think we were going to do that, weren't we? That
I
was pretty much
was
booked
thinking
at
of an
that
idea
time,
of doing
yeah.
a Black Carnival 2.0. with,
Oh, it
all
wasn't
new
technically
people.
Black Carnival 2.0.
But it was going to be called Black Carnival.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
I didn't know about that.
That was the
Okay.
idea.
There you
It
go.
was going to be a new Black Carnival with a clown and a carny,
Yeah, right.
more of a different edge to it.
Yeah,
But,
so there you go.
there you go.
But I might as well tell you this. Me and Deacon were going to have a feud. It was like the sort of the carny versus the circus clown.
Yeah.
And I think it was going to end in us becoming a tag team eventually, wasn't it?
That was an idea. Yeah.
Or, there were sort of rough ideas along those lines out there
It
anyway.
didn't make any sense to keep you guys separate. If you were doing a carny gimmick,
Yeah.
and he was doing a clown.
Yeah,
it
sort of
would-
very similar gimmicks. We either had to fight or team up or both.
Yeah, I think Deacon was very much on the fence about what he wanted to do because he did
Yeah.
want to delve into that clown character that
Yeah,
we
yeah.
thought about, but
Which I think would have been cool, but at the same time, I think overly gimmicky characters in backyard wrestling don't really go over too well.
no, it doesn't really
Like,
work sometimes.
Everyone knows it's backyard wrestling,
Yeah.
so if you try and do overly gimmicky characters, then it's just sort of like, I don't know, very cheesy, very sort of, I don't know, it just doesn't work. How would you explain it?
Yeah, I mean, what's an example of that? Can we even think of an example?
The masked wrestlers, maybe?
Yeah,
They're supposed to be like lucha Mexicans, doing all those, crazy lucha head scissors and, whatever.
it didn't really translate.
Yeah, whereas they sort of just, flop around in the ring and take a bunch of moves.
Okay, think of Stu Kemsley, the party boy. He's going to be
Yeah,
the party
that's
boy.
probably a
but
better
then
example,
nothing really happened with the party.
Yeah,
thing.
like Howes is a party boy.
He
hosted a party.
He had a dance party once.
Yeah. Yeah, so overly gimmicky characters don't really work in yachting. As I said, people know it's yachting. People know these guys are just, someone that could, live down the road. They're just regular dudes. So even though it's nice to suspend disbelief in a character, I think when you try and do it seriously, it just doesn't work too well.
Yeah, especially in the next minute you're in the crowd chanting.
Yeah, exactly.
Match,
yeah.
So.
You can only go so far with characters in backyard wrestling, I think. Or in wrestling in general, I think.
Yeah.
I think it applies to, indie feds and stuff like that as well.
Yeah. Yeah, when did you ever see any of those gimmicky wrestlers be WWE heavyweight champion? Was Doink the Clown ever the champion?
Yeah.
No. Okay, Ryan Tate, favourite type of candy?
I'm not really a candy fan, to be honest. I don't eat too many lollies. I do have a sweet tooth, but it's mainly ice cream and chocolate. Candy. See, when I think of candy, I think the really sugary stuff,
Starburst.
Yeah.
Or
Starburst and candy canes.
Candy cane, yeah. I think
the really sweet sort of things, not like chocolate and ice cream.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah.
Next question from Ryan Tate: best and worst parts of doing video editing / photography.
Okay. I thought this was a wrestling podcast, but we're going to delve into my personal career. Best and worst parts. The best part is, I shoot a lot of burlesque and shows at strip clubs and stuff.
Tits, pussy,
hanging out in strip club,
dead ass.
Hanging out in the strip club change rooms is probably one of the best things.
Excellent.
And just generally being creative and all that stuff. But you don't want to hear about that. You want to hear about the tits.
I'm sure you love to see your finished product, whereas editing it all is okay, fuck, I've got to do it.
Oh, it can be, yeah. Especially considering my editing studio is less than a metre away from my bed.
And I guess I would say one of the worst parts of being a photographer is doing great work for free for a long time and then asking for a little bit of money and then not being reciprocated with any sort of money whatsoever.
Yeah, and it really sucks when you work for local wrestling companies that do that.
Yes, not naming anyone in particular. In particular. Sorry, I just had to clear my throat.
That's a bit of an explosive problem.
They're not listening to this, but if they are, I'm sorry, dudes. You should have maybe just offered $50.
Yeah.
Five people.
Now that we've said that, I might as well tell the story about that. Basically, I worked for Explosive Pro Wrestling, the main pro company in Perth, for a long time, doing photography for them for free. I got really good at this, if I may say myself, and they really loved the photos. And then eventually I asked for a bit of money because I basically don't work for free for anyone anymore. I did work for APW for free for a little while for the love of wrestling, but then I sort of outgrew it, and I need a bit of money for the work I do now.
Yeah.
I asked for a very, very, very cheap rate compared to what I usually ask, and they couldn't pay for it. And I mean, they weren't obligated to pay for it. They never said that they would pay me for their work. But it was just sort of disappointing that I worked for them for so long, and they absolutely loved what I did. But then, as soon as I ask for a tiny bit of money, they don't value it at all.
It's like it should be worth a little bit of money. If it's worth to feel great about seeing these great photos, then surely it's worth some sort of money reward.
Yeah, and it was honestly only a small fee that I was asking for. Not even a quarter of what I would usually shoot events for.
Yeah.
But yeah, as I said, I don't know. They weren't obligated to pay anything. Nothing was discussed. Oh, if you become great, we'll pay you. It was nothing like that. I don't know. It was just a little disappointing. But at the same time, I don't blame them too much.
It's all good.
Yeah.
Alright, next question from Ryan Tate. Your favourite moments from UWF, ICWS and WCWA. So maybe just one moment for each film.
Yeah, alright. Favourite moments. UWF. Probably XCW Invasion.
UWF.
UWF. Never mind. UWF. Probably first thing that comes to mind is my match with MC Crawl, Close Encounter. That was the match I talked about in the first part of the podcast. Yeah, that was basically one of probably the most influential matches of that time. It was a ladder match.
Okay.
Yeah, that was sort of the match where people started doing bigger moves, and the match flowed really well. There was good storyline incorporated, stuff like that.
Okay. ICWS or XCW Invasion?
Yeah, for ICWS, I'd say XCW Invasion.
Just the whole storyline?
Yeah, basically. I mean, there's so much I could say for that, really. But, yeah, I don't know. As I said, the first thing that comes to mind for ICWS is the XCW Invasion. I don't know. There's so much to talk about. I can't really pick out one moment, but that's the first thing.
And WCWA?
WCW, I'm going to say the hardcore match with Antilochus. Yeah, such a influential match. Absolutely raised the bar tenfold for hardcore matches, which turned out to be a good and bad thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's probably one of the main things I think of when I think of WCWA. My hardcore run, because I think that was definitely a big part of my career. Something I always wanted to do, and I eventually got to do it.
Yeah.
Fucking nailed it.
Yeah. Nailed it, mate. Nailed it.
Yeah.
Okay, now we also asked your least favourite moments from UWF, ICWS and WCWA. I'm going to as you say, your least favourite moment from UWF.
Alright, so he's got a which means I have to talk for, about a minute.
That's alright.
Trying to think of stuff. Least favourite moment from UWF.
Maybe Chadio's departure?
Oh, yeah, that's a good point, actually, yeah. Yes, that's what I'm going to say, because that's the first thing I think of. Yeah, Chadio's departure. Yeah, I don't know, that was such a sad moment in my childhood, man. Like, not childhood, teenagehood.
So he's your best friend?
Yeah, he was my best friend. Well, one of my best friends, at least. So yeah, it was so sad, becoming really good friends with him. Always hanging out at school, hanging out outside of school. We were a tag team in wrestling, doing everything together. And then, yeah, he eventually had to move back to the US, and I was just like, fuck.
Yeah.
Like a crushing sort of thing. Not only in wrestling, obviously, but personally.
Yep.
Yeah, least favourite moment in UWF would be that.
IC-Dub?
IC-Dub, probably...
I think I can.
Yeah, what do you
call
reckon?
It again.
What would you say?
The unfortunate circumstances with the match against Rusty. The unfortunate.
Yeah. No,
ending.
the first thing that came to mind for me was when DJ and Eli were leaving. Yeah, that was sort of sad. I was a little emotional in their last match because obviously they built this thing that I was now champion of.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was sad to see them leaving.
You didn't want them to go?
No, because I've been doing this with them for how long by now? 3 or 4 years? 4 years, I think.
I think at that point, yeah, just nearly 3 years.
Yeah, 3 years maybe. So yeah, sad to see them go. It didn't last long in hindsight, obviously.
Especially that point with Wicked Nick James going, them two going.
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
almost like
Everything
you were
was
the only one that was an original. At
yeah,
that
I was
stage.
sort of holding it together on the roster. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, also the thing with Rusty, that's very, very disappointing. But I still have high hopes that death match will happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully that will be reciprocated. Is that the right word?
I think so.
Yeah, hopefully it'll happen.
Yes, hopefully it'll happen. I think reciprocated means when someone.
That's when someone gives back.
Yeah, gives back,
right?
reciprocates to you.
That will be reprimanded. Is that the word I'm looking
reprimanded?
for?
Doesn't that mean you get in trouble for something? Like you got reprimanded for doing that to Deacon. How could you do that to you?
Yeah. I think you might be right. There's an R word in there with quite a lot of letters in it, which is what I'm trying to explain.
Rape?
But I'm obviously rape. I want to rape Rusty.
Okay, WCWA least favourite moment for you personally.
first thing that comes to mind when I had to miss all those shows when I was dating my bitch for next girlfriend.
Okay.
Yeah, enough said about that.
Right.
Obviously.
Me. Thoughts on people drinking or smoking pot before matches?
Before matches, well, drinking, it's okay as long as you don't have enough to, affect your performance.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you drink too much, you smoke too much, fuck off. You don't want to be doing that before your match. You're putting your opponent in danger, and you're most likely going to put on a terrible show.
Like 4 beers, all right, not too bad. You can play
Depending on who you are.
You can play a game of cricket with 4 beers. Oh, for me, 4 beers is like fucking a couple of glasses of water, basically.
Yeah. But yeah, basically.
But what do you reckon about smoking pot before a match? Because it's a little bit different, and I know Jacob will disagree, and people will disagree, but I think smoking pot before matches is got a bit of a different effect on you than alcohol.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it's basically my opinion is whatever your vice is, you need to know your limits before you do it before a match.
I'm sure Jacob knows his limit.
Oh, he knows
not
his
to
limits,
do that. But for example, acid.
Calling out Jacob, apparently.
For example, acid would get. He said to me once, "I'm too stoned to wrestle," and I'm like,
Yeah,
"Go the fuck out there now and wrestle. You're
Yeah.
not fucking holding this shop any longer.
Yeah.
Go out there and wrestle." So
Yeah, basically my opinion is know your limits. Know how much you can take and still be able to wrestle a good match, sort of consciously and safely.
This is what we get away with in backyard wrestling. See, in pro wrestling, you can't do that. Although there have been a few occasions
I know
where
a few
I have
occasions.
drank a little bit too much.
Not just you. I know a few occasions where people have been pretty stoned on their pro matches and stuff.
Fantastic.
Anyway. Yeah, my point is know your limits. If you don't know your limits, don't do it before your match. So either know what you can do, how much you can drink or smoke, whatever the fuck you're doing.
Kemsley.
Yeah.
10 middies before the battlefield brawl.
No,
because all the theme songs are still all together.
Yeah.
So his theme song plays and he doesn't come out. He's upstairs fucking yakking his hole.
Yeah.
So funny.
In the hallway. But yeah, basically my opinion is know your limits before. Make sure you're going to be conscious, you're going to be safe, you know exactly what you're doing in the match. You're still able to plan a match, pull off a match safely. If you don't know your limits, don't do it before your match. Do it after. People getting drunk, doing drugs, whatever, I don't care at all. I'll probably join you. But before your match, know your limits. Do not endanger the person.
I will never get high before a match because I know I won't be able to do it right.
Yeah, half a cone, you're fucked.
I'll be fucked.
Yeah.
Okay, Blade Shaw. What are your thoughts on many people in WA and even yourself calling yourself the heart and soul of ICWS? I mean, did you think that beforehand, or did someone say it first? Because I think someone like me would have said,
"Oh yeah,
Dan Zeplin's the heart and soul."
Yeah, I think that's your phrase for me, really. I never thought of anything like that for myself beforehand. Yeah, I think you were the first one to call me the heart and soul of the ICWS.
Because I'm just making those comparisons to like a Johnny V and a Nick Airy.
Yeah. The people that sort of carried the
Nick Airy was the
federation.
heart, Johnny V was the soul.
Yeah,
and Diffuser was the conscience.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah, I know what you mean, yeah.
All those things that don't really exist.
Yeah, I know what you mean, though. Yeah, it's, as I said, I didn't think of myself like that whatsoever, but in hindsight, when you say I'm the heart and soul of what ICWS was, I do agree. I was basically the face of the company, as we mentioned before, when SPWS came in, when XCW came in, I defended ICWS. I was the one sticking up for us and fighting for us. So I was the heart and soul for the Federation. I wouldn't call myself that, but I do really appreciate when you call me that, because I feel like it's a good title to have. Like,
it is.
I was fighting for something, not only within storylines, but it's like, I've been respected enough, and what I've done has been recognised enough.
And something that means a lot to you, you actually mean a lot to it at the same time.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So you'll look back when you're an old man and say, you know what? We did that. I'm proud of that we did that, and I'm proud that I was, such a pivotal part of that federation.
Yeah, not only in storylines was I defending it against the big bad guys, but in reality, I was putting my heart and soul into it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Okay, next question from Blade. What else is there in the legacy of Dan Zeplin that you would like to achieve before calling it quits? We did touch on it before.
Yeah.
World Hardcore Championship might be something you'd like to have. If
it
it happens. If it doesn't, that's okay.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's exactly right. It's it would be nice to hold it. I might as well say here, we did have plans for me to win it.
Yes,
but I was basically like, I don't know how much I can commit to, and I feel like there's guys who are more committed than me who have really earned it. So please give it to them rather than me.
Yes, no, I guess I'll just give it away now. Dan Zeplin was supposed to win the World Hardcore Championship this year after his feud with Ryan Tate was over. Supposed to move on straight from there, straight to the World Hardcore title, get the belt off Antilochus before Antilochus won the heavyweight title. But now he's got both belts, so now we've got to figure out what we're doing in the future with that title. But at this stage, knowing where you're at and not wanting to be too relied upon to have to be there for such an important thing like the World Hardcore title, I've got to think of a different plan. But hey, if it is, I'm not saying it's not going to happen. It's just right now it can't. But
and I would be stoked to have it. That would be an absolute honour.
But you get to be a world champion with the GBYWN, which I know you were pivotal in getting to Australia.
Yeah. But so I did have the opportunity to win the title. Crew did, like, he told me I was winning it, and I was like, hang on, man. I think there's other people that should.
If it wasn't at WCWA, I was asking DJ to please book the match at ICWS so you could win it there.
Yeah.
Because Jacob was so busy with all his feud with Rex Regan and his feud with Mykonos and all that going on. There was too much happening for me to fit it in.
Yeah.
Especially with the less amount of shows every year. So I was trying to go for an ICWS thing, but that didn't happen either. So
So, what was the question again?
What would you like to achieve before you retire?
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, so holding that title would be great, but honestly, if it doesn't happen, I'm not bothered. I don't need the, the accolade under me.
You've already got enough.
Yeah. What else? Yeah, as I said before, I just want to entertain people. I'm not super bothered about being, main event storylines, not bothered about championships. I just want to have fun. I just want to, entertain people. That's all really.
Okay.
I think in backyard wrestling I've done enough. I want to see the younger guys do what they want to do, get the titles and do some wicked shit.
And
for myself, I'm just happy to entertain.
Them create their legacy.
Yeah, that's it.
And be a part of helping.
That's a good point. I feel like I've already had a legacy. I don't need to build on it too much more.
You could retire tomorrow and you're a legend, you're a Hall of
Famer. Yeah, that's it. I don't need to build on it too much more. Hopefully without sounding cocky. People know who I am, So, I've done what I've done. I don't need to, keep reminding people and, taking up that space all the time. Let the new guys create their legacies.
Okay. Next question I find is very interesting, and there's another question I want to ask after it in conjunction with it. How do you feel about the evolution of Dan Zeplin up until this point? So we're talking about Voltage, chubby little Dan Zeplin. And then we move on to skinny little Dan Zeplin with very long hair.
Yeah. I feel like it's been a good story.
Then you go to SPWS.
I came into the Fed. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's been a good story, as we've covered in the last 3 parts of the podcast, really.
Yeah.
I came in. It was just sort of a thing I was doing with friends. Eventually, it became more serious. Won a few titles, stuff like that. Became the face of the company, basically. Eventually made the heel turn that most baby faces eventually do, I guess.
Yeah.
Had a good heel run, and now basically at this point I'm sort of a tweener and just entertaining people, really. So I don't know. I feel like I've had a good run, sort of, paid my dues, that sort of thing. Now I'm just sort of.
And your character has evolved from one thing to another. As the situations allowed it. And one question I wanted to add on to this is the new version of Dan Zeplin. You're on your own now. You haven't really had the chance to have a real run since the supposed babyface turn. But are you going to try to delve into that Cannibal character a little bit more? I know you said you wanted to get the Plague Doctor mask.
Yeah.
And things like that. Do you still want to do stuff like that?
Yeah, I definitely want to develop my character a lot more. As I've said a few times already, I really want to try and work on the entertaining aspect of my ring work. As a wrestler these days, I'm not too great. At least I don't feel too great about myself. I can't do all this super high flying, huge bumps and shit like that anymore. So yeah, I really want to work on the entertaining aspect of wrestling. To be a good wrestler, you don't have to take huge bumps. You don't have to do stupid spots and stuff. You can just be entertaining within your character and ring psychology, stuff like that. Tell good stories. That's basically what I want to do now. I don't want to be in too many matches with huge bumps and hardcore shit, stuff like that. Just want to entertain, really.
So, I think it will be really good for you to really delve into being the Cannibal. So you're obsessed with biting your opponents. You want to fucking eat them alive when you're trying to fight them. That will be, and that'll be a good way of, working with your limitations now. You putting those limitations on yourself. You are capable of doing the Hurricane Ranas and all that. But maybe you can cover that up if you don't want to do that so much anymore by using that character in your matches to fill in those spots which would get a big reaction like a Hurricane Rana. But instead you're fucking actually biting someone, or you're trying to rip their fucking muscles out of their fucking shoulder blades and stuff with your mouth, and you're just like you're an actual fucking cannibal.
Yeah, that's basically what I want to try and emphasize. Yeah,
and
emphasize the Cannibal character. And hopefully be entertaining at the same time. Sort of getting more, not so much a face character, but sort of a tweener character. Like I'm basically a heel, but I get cheered now.
Yeah.
I want to try and incorporate the Cannibal aspect a lot more into my character, while also hopefully being on the crowd side.
Cool.
I think that would work well.
All right. Question 4 from Blade. Who are some of the WA Yarders that you haven't wrestled that you would like to?
Who is there? Actually, let me open up a Facebook group that we have on Facebook, and then I can see who's in that.
Alright, can I say at least one?
Yeah, go for it.
Johnny V.
Oh yeah, Johnny V. Yeah, for sure. I've always wanted to wrestle Johnny V. Basically, any of the XCW guys. I've always been really keen to wrestle because they're so entertaining. They don't need to do amazing stuff in their match, even though they do most of the time. Just their characters and just like their stage presence. Just the way that they apply that into wrestling, they just command the crowd's respect. And the crowd just loves them every time as soon as they walk out the ring. So walk out the ring, walk out the curtain. That's
to the ring.
To the ring. So I'd love to have a match with any of those guys. I feel like basically almost any match they have can be entertaining.
Yeah.
Who else? I'm just going through the members in our Facebook group. Yeah, Blade. I've wrestled him before, but I'd love to wrestle him again in a solid match. Deacon. I've still got to have an amazing match with Deacon. I'm sure. I just feel like we would have really good chemistry. Definitely keen to face Deacon. Who else? Ace. I'd love to have a match with Ace. I feel like we could work together. Sort of the big guy versus little guy sort of thing.
Yeah. Might help him a lot as well.
Yeah. I feel like him wrestling more experienced dudes could definitely help him.
Yeah. Next show, Commissioner's Cup, he's against me. So
there you
that's him stepping up now, because he's wrestled a lot of masked guys, and he's also wrestled just like the likes of like Steel and Kyle and Deacon, but he hasn't really had a chance to step up to a Dark Ice or a Chaos or an Aston
I think it's about time
Zeplin.
that he really had a challenge on his hands.
Now I'm all systems go with that. He's going to have to really start stepping it up now, because he's going to be facing a lot of bigger names.
Sounds good. Fuck yeah, I'm into that. Looking forward to that. Another one to wrestle is Hydro. I forgot his ring name for a moment. Yeah, I'd love to wrestle Hydro. He's just great entertainer, fast paced. I feel like we could put on a really good fast paced match together.
Okay.
Rusty, I've still got to wrestle, of course.
Yes.
Whether that's at IC Dub or Dubsy Dub, wherever that happens, got to wrestle him.
Yep.
Stacy.
You want to wrestle Stacey?
Yeah, that'd be fun. Not expecting that to happen ever.
Well, I mean, she wants to, because she says, look, if I'm coming back, I'm not just coming back just to stand at ringside, I want to actually
really?
wrestle. And I'm like, well, shit, okay. Well,
There we
now,
go,
now
there
I've got
we
to
go.
really think about things.
Alright, well, I've wrestled, I used to wrestle Bambi, the other female wrestler in WA Yarding.
Yes.
The only one, as far as I know, apart from Lila, sorry.
Yes.
So there you go. She could face an experienced women's wrestler.
And Stacey, you know
I'm
what?
not a
Now
woman.
he said that, I want a match against you. Because I remember in XCW,
No, she's mine.
she wanted to wrestle me. We never got to. Would be good to do it.
So yeah, you're going to use that as an excuse now to wrestle, aren't you?
No. But
Who
Zeplin
else?
versus
Who else?
Stacey
Steel.
would be
I've got to
amazing.
wrestle Steel.
Steel.
We're good friends. Yeah, we want to battle out in the ring. We've been wanting to for ages. Got to make that happen. Could be a fun, entertaining match. Who else?
Well, aside from that, also, just to cut in, not just people you haven't wrestled before, but you would like to wrestle Wicked Nick James.
Oh yeah, for sure.
SWS,
Yeah,
that'd be
yeah.
amazing. And Vincent Graves.
Oh yeah,
Sadistic.
yeah, Vincent Grace for sure.
Your first ever match was against him.
my
You've
first
gotta
ever
wrestle
match.
him again.
If you listen to the first part of the podcast on the Australian GBYWN podcast, that was my first match ever. It was terrible, so it would be great to wrestle him again.
And he's so good now.
He's crazy good now. You teach him something once. You know, you go through it with him once, and he'll know exactly what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would definitely be good to have a match with him that's actually decent.
So is that all? Maybe Kyle?
Kyle. Yeah, Kyle for sure. Again, he'll be another fast-paced wrestler. We could have a good match.
Spoiler alert for everyone out there. I'm just gonna let this one go out there. Earlier this year, Kai Fusion was going to be backyard champion, and he was going to have the rules of warm breast street fight. So he'd be having hardcore matches every show. Dan Zeplin was going to be the world hardcore champion. He was going to be having hardcore matches every event. And then it would finally erupt at Resolution 4, where the world hardcore champion and the backyard champion put both belts on the line to unify the titles to see who the most hardcore is. With you getting on the microphone at Christmas Carnage, you know what? All year you've been having hardcore matches with your backyard title. I'm the hardcore champion. How could you do this? You know, trying to upstage me and you at Resolution. That was the idea, but no longer.
Yeah.
No longer in the pipeline, unfortunately.
Wap, wap.
But that was also when I had booked for like 12 shows for the year. But now we're only getting like 6 or 7, so
yeah, right.
That's not going to work. But anyway, let's get on to the next one. Last question for Blade. Who are some of the people that influenced Dan Zeplin? It can be wrestling or non-wrestling related.
Oh, tough one. Because I've never really been able to watch a whole lot of wrestling. I've never had Foxtel, which is what WWE is aired on, if you're not from Australia. So I've only, sort of seen dribs and drabs of WWE. I used to watch a fair bit of Chikara. Delirious was one of my favourites, character-wise, I guess, and I did adopt one of his finishes, the Shadows Over Hell, as well. It's not really a finisher of mine yet, but I am trying to establish that currently. Who else? I don't think I've ever really been too influenced by specific wrestlers. More just sort of wrestling in general. Yeah, I used to watch a lot of indie wrestling on YouTube, and I think I was mostly just influenced by it in, like, sort of entirely, rather than individual wrestlers, because I sort of saw, as I said, bits and bobs, rather than sort of being able to follow the careers of certain wrestlers.
Yeah.
So, Yeah, I don't know. It's always been hard to find inspiration from certain wrestlers, if you know what I mean. I've never been super into a whole lot of wrestlers, except for when I first got into wrestling.
Gotcha.
So yeah, sort of just influenced by wrestling in general, indie wrestling in particular.
Well, would you say there's a lot of influence from backyard wrestling over east as well?
Oh yeah, that totally helped as well, actually.
Are there any specific guys that, I mean, this is probably Rusty, but is there anyone else that might have...
Yeah, not particularly. Again, just sort of the wrestling in general. You know, I'd see a cool move or sequence, and I was like, yeah, I want to do that. Or, you know, just the general style that people were doing, I'd be influenced by that.
Okay.
Yeah, again, never been too influenced by specific people themselves. More just wrestling in general.
Okay. Alex Stone. He's got 5 questions.
Okay.
You've basically done it all in yarding. Who would you like to see one day take your place and become the new Dan Zeplin?
Ooh, the new Dan Zeplin. You know, the first one that comes to mind. Guess who?
Is it Deacon?
Yeah, it's fucking Deacon. It's
Kyle.
Well,
Kyle. Everyone went on and on about you for years. Turned Deacon heel. Now all they're talking about is him and not you.
Well, yeah, that's
this
it.
is
I mean,
fucking amazing, isn't it? Like everyone always went on about Kyle was.
well,
like,
I think that
so great. He's so great. He's like Mike Del Carno 2.0. Blah blah blah. And now Deacon's come in. Alex Stone reckons he's the next Alex Stone.
Well,
now you're saying he might be the next Dan Zeplin.
I think that shows how important character and storyline is in wrestling. Deacon has had very heavy character development and storylines, you know, in recent years.
He's killing it. He's killing it.
Whereas Kyle, amazing matches, fucking amazing wrestler, but sort of storyline-wise, character-wise, not quite so heavy.
Well, what do you think of him in ICWS so far?
Kyle?
Yeah, just to branch off into that.
Yeah.
He's the train wreck gimmick he's going on. I think he's actually doing quite well with it.
He's nailing the character very well, and wrestling-wise, well, yeah, he's always been great wrestling-wise. Yeah, it's been really interesting to see Kyle wrestle in ICWS, actually.
Kyle, you might need to go back to the drawing board, mate, and think about something that'll help you stand out just as much as Deacon is right now.
Yeah, man, that's it. Kyle is an amazing wrestler. Absolutely love him. But yeah, character-wise, there's some room to improve. Storyline-wise, you know, if he was booked into more main event storylines, maybe that could help him as well. Obviously, not everyone can get that, but yeah,
well, we'll just see
character-wise and the way you portray the storylines you are booked in, whether it's, you know, main event or, you know, mid-card, whatever it is, the way you do what you do is what determines your popularity, I think. Yeah,
but yeah, Deacon is the new Dan Zeplin.
Yeah, I mean, that's the first one that comes to mind.
I can see the comparisons.
Yeah.
Okay. From there, next one. Who out of the many rising stars do you think is at the top of their game, and who do you think needs an extra step to get there? Well, I didn't know that was the next question, but you've obviously...
yeah, sort of answered that. Who's the rising star do you think is top of their game?
And who needs the next step to get there?
Well, yeah, top of their game, Deacon. Yeah, basically what I just said. Who needs the next step? Kyle. Yeah, as I said, amazing, but just needs that extra push.
Yeah, okay, next one. You used to get comments all the time about not being interested in yarding. Stated in your podcast that you are. How did it make you feel having people assume that you weren't interested? This is kind of the same thing that Zibby went through when I interviewed him.
Yeah. Although I feel like that's like very fair thoughts for people to have. I do feel like I have probably seemed quite uninterested in it lately, because I'm sort of like, maybe won't be booked on this show. You know, I'll wrestle, you know, when I'm ready, sort of thing.
Yeah.
I think I said before in the last podcast, I am very interested, but yeah, you know, it's off and on with work and, you know, shit like that. Anyway, I won't go through that now. I think we talked about it before.
Yeah.
But yeah. Yeah, I think it's warranted that people may think I'm not too interested, but yeah, I definitely am. That's why I rock up to every show. I'm still very very interested in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rightio. Well, I think you still are interested. You've already explained your position on
Yeah,
things. Alex Stone again. How do you feel about the majority of hardcore matches now using light tubes, which you brought into the WA yarding scene? We kind of covered it. But
Yeah,
maybe
sort of
touch
covered
on it a
that.
bit more if you want.
I'm glad that as of right now we've moved away from the light tubes or the hardcore era in general, basically. As I said before, it's the light tubes got a bit much. They were overused. They started not even getting pops when they were used.
Yeah.
It was almost pointless when they were used. But yeah, I'm certainly glad that we moved away from that. We're more back onto the technical wrestling. What wrestling is really supposed to be about.
Yeah, we've kind of really downplayed the hardcore stuff all year.
Yeah, and as I said, I'm really glad about that.
I think it's helped us. To be honest,
absolutely.
Because people are so worried about putting on this great hardcore match.
Oh yeah,
and showing
it's
how
shifted the
hardcore
focus
they
so
are.
much. Yeah, everyone was so focused on, as we said before, sort of a bit of a dick measuring contest. Almost everyone on the roster was keen to do the most hardcore bumps that we could. And there were still a few people who love their technical wrestling and stuff, but I'm absolutely happy that we're seeing some proper wrestling matches now. We don't have to rely on the hardcore stuff anymore.
Good stuff. Next one. Did you like seeing my penis?
I haven't seen your penis.
No, Alex Stone.
Oh, Alex Stone's penis. Yeah, I did enjoy seeing that penis.
Yep.
I suppose I better explain that story now.
Us three were, I think, because I was there. I was in the
You were there as
webcam
well.
chat as well.
Yeah, so it was a webcam chat. It was one of those websites where someone starts a webcam stream and they post a link on their Facebook, whatever, and anyone can come in and chat to them and stuff while they're chatting about whatever they want on webcam, stuff like that.
So the webcam wasn't on us; it was just on him.
Yeah, just on Alex. Yeah.
So what happened?
He was talking about general stuff like band stuff, I think, because there was a few other people in the conversation. Then eventually everyone else left the conversation, and it was just me and Carl left in the convo with Alex while Alex was webcamming. Crude, you went off to, I don't know.
Oh, he said he was going to get changed. So when he said
Yeah,
that,
he said he was
like,
going to get
I'm
changed.
Go do whatever.
Yeah, so you went off to do whatever. I was still on the webcam because I was doing nothing else at the time.
Didn't he put a shirt over the webcam? Or something over the webcam and it fell off?
Not that I remember.
I thought that he put like his shirt on top of the webcam so you couldn't see him getting changed, but then it fell off.
No. Might have done. I don't remember that. Yeah, but it could have been. Anyway, he was on webcam and he was off in the room, which was sort of like a far room from where the webcam was, sort of down a hallway. But he got changed right in the doorway of his room, where you could see down the hallway on the webcam.
Oh.
So yeah,
And you saw his doodle.
Yeah, I saw his doodle. I was sort of just watching, not intently watching, because he was obviously not talking to us, but it was there on my screen while I was on my phone or whatever. And yeah, I think he took his shirt off, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, he's comfortable, sort of,
yeah, he's comfortable.
Changing his shirt on the webcam or whatever.
No problem, nothing about that.
Yeah, and then he took his shorts off, or whatever bottoms he was wearing, and then he took his underwear off, and his wang, flopped out straight on the webcam, and I was like, oh, that's not what I signed up to see, but...
you didn't click print screen?
Not complaining, really. Oh, I should have done it.
You should have.
That was worth money.
Yeah.
That was worth money. Yeah, long story short, I saw Alex's penis on webcam.
Lovely.
Carl didn't see it, even though he was in the same chat. He was off doing...
I came back and I just saw commotion.
Yeah, commotion in the chat. I just saw Alex's penis.
What? No, what?
And you were so disappointed that
I couldn't believe it. I missed seeing his dick. Alright, Knuckles. How do you come up with your gimmicks, and are they in any way similar to your real life self?
How do I come up with my gimmicks? Well, my gimmick
your
up until...
ICWS gimmick was pretty much just you.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. Up until, before WCWA, it was just me. I was a face. I was fairly generic face, to be honest. Yeah, it was just me, really. I was just doing whatever the booking called for, as a generic face of the company sort of thing.
So how'd you come up with the Cannibal?
Cannibal, honestly, I don't know where that came from. I thought of the nickname, the Cannibal, and then I was like, oh yeah, that'd be cool. And then the character sort of just developed from there. Not that I've developed my character too much, but yeah, sort of the heel Dan Zeplin sort of just developed out of thinking of the nickname, the Cannibal, which came from wherever, I don't know. I saw it somewhere and I thought that would be cool.
Right on.
Yeah, so there's not really ever been too much thought into my character. It's just sort of happened naturally.
Okay. Knuckles also asked, what is your motivation behind the facial hair?
Well, it just happened, really, didn't it?
For those playing at home, he's actually got quite the cranking Amish-looking beard right now.
Well, it's not Amish, because I've got a bit of a moustache.
But it still looks a bit Amish.
Okay. Well, yeah, the thing about my beard is, I didn't do anything. I actually stopped doing something. I stopped shaving, so this beard is the product of doing nothing in it. It's a product of me being lazy.
It's the product of no motivation, not
yeah,
motivation.
Exactly. It's rather than I want to grow a beard. Beards are in fashion. It's like I'm lazy. I'm not going to shave. Yeah. I've got a beard now. Yeah, as you said, it's a product of doing nothing. I didn't do anything, so don't compliment it. If you compliment it, you're
complimenting laziness.
Yeah, you're complimenting laziness.
You're advocating laziness.
Yeah. I'm going to be fat because of you. No, I don't. I eat like I should be fat by my diet. I eat like ice cream and fast food almost every day. Yeah, I am liking the beer.
And how many sugars are in your cups of tea?
2.
For those playing at home, Dan Zeplin loves a cup of tea.
I do love a cup of tea. I drink probably at least 2 a day.
Very English of you.
Yeah, well, I do have quite a lot of English influence in my background. See how I said me background?
Yeah,
that's English, isn't it?
So English, innit?
In it. There we go. Can't stop now.
Mate.
Ooh, aye.
Alright.
Here by gum lad.
He also asked best and worst moments in yarding, but we kind of covered that.
Yeah, already been asked. Fuck it.
Last question from Knuckles. How many harpoons would it take to kill Moby Eli? I don't think Nemanja likes Eli.
Yeah, no, it doesn't seem like it, does it? Well, I don't know. I've never really entertained his jokes about Eli, so...
Okay.
Let's leave it at that.
Alright, Diffuser. What match type would you like to see more of in backyard wrestling?
From Diffuser?
Yeah.
What match type would you like to see more of in backyard wrestling? That's quite an interesting question from him, isn't it?
Of course, Diffuser has to be outside the box.
Yeah.
Something you wouldn't expect, you know?
Yeah, he couldn't ask a normal question. What was your favourite moment? No, he couldn't ask that. He had to ask something very interesting.
Yeah.
What match type would you like to see? I would like to see more innovative match types. So, sort of going a bit away from the question, rather than one match type. But yeah, backyard wrestling has the opportunity to do whatever it wants, basically. So I think more innovative match types should be integrated as much as possible, basically.
Gotcha.
Yeah, as I said, we can do what we want. So there's no restrictions. We could do a stripper on a pole match. Whoever wins gets a lap dance.
Excellent.
And in theory, we all win there, don't we?
Yes.
So yeah, I would love to see more innovation with match types.
That's a fucking brilliant idea.
Yeah, there we go. See if we can
we'll see if we
shove
can
on
line
a
that
pole.
up for resolution.
There we go.
Winner gets a lap dance from a hell hot stripper.
Yeah.
I would like to see a cage match. One day.
I would love to see a cage match.
It's just an idea that I have.
Yeah.
And it's all about Tim organising it.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough, isn't it? Because they did one back in the day when it, what were they called before WCW?
No, they did one at WCW.
It was WCW, but very early.
It was their first show. Hard time.
They did a cage match, but was that on the trampoline?
Yeah, it was a trampoline.
Yeah, it was on the trampoline. So the cage, they used those, rent-a-fence things, the mesh fences that are, 2 meters tall?
Yeah, but they had ones that fit the actual trampoline
Yeah. But
I don't know how they did it.
It was
but
like
I
that
don't know why we
Rent-A-Fence
can't
style.
do it. We should be able
Well,
to do it.
I think the problem is the ring is elevated from the ground.
Yeah.
So if we used that type of fencing, it would be
Yeah.
as tall as the ring.
Yeah.
So there's no point the cage being there. So what
we'd have to construct a proper cage.
Yeah, that's it. We'd have to construct something which is going to cost a fuckload of money and effort that most
And
people
then what
probably
do we
aren't
do with
worth.
it afterward? Got to leave it just
Yeah,
Jack's
yeah,
house.
that's
Great.
it. And maybe
No
do another
one
cage
stuck with
match
it.
3 years later.
Yeah. Because I
So,
certainly wouldn't want to be having a cage match every fucking show. That's for sure.
Oh, and that's the thing. The WWA guys, being how they are, we got a cage. Let's do one. I want my match to be a cage match. It would happen all the time.
Yeah.
Or people would want it to happen all the time.
That's why I've been like, we're not having that many ladder matches, guys. Maybe,
Yeah,
maybe one a year.
Yeah, everyone wants all these special stipulation matches. Yeah, everyone wants these special stipulation matches, which is great and all. I mean, as I said, it's backyard wrestling. We can do what we want. It's good to do fun shit, but at the same time, if you do it too much, it's going to get old very quickly.
Yeah.
You got to be careful with that stuff. If you do too many match types within close proximity to each other, show wise, it's going to get very old very quickly. You can't do that.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, as I said, I support backyard wrestling being very different and doing more stipulation matches and stuff. But yeah, we've got to try and do different ones to keep it interesting. Can't be the same shit all the time.
Yeah. Okay. Next one, Rex Regan. When will we face? When will we have a match?
Good question. Hey, I haven't wrestled Rex yet. I don't think we've ever touched in the ring. Yeah, good. I hope it happens soon, man.
Whether it's IC dub or WZ dub.
Either way, man. I'm keen to wrestle Rex. He's a talented wrestler. He knows his psychology, which I'm interested in getting more into as well.
Yeah.
It'd be cool to wrestle him for sure. It's about time we face because we've never even touched in the ring as far as I can remember. So.
Okay, Still Kemsley chiming in now with 3 questions. Where else in the world would you want to do backyard wrestling?
Over east, I suppose. If those guys ever eventually organise a show, I would love to go over there and wrestle with them. As said plenty of times before, they were idols when we were, working ourselves out as wrestlers, trying to get there to their point. So if those guys ever host a show again, which they keep planning to, but it never happens.
It never seems to happen, no.
If it eventually happens,
if it happened, I'm going there. I'll do it.
That's it. It's been Tournament of Hate. They all say it's never going to happen again. TOH5 was the last one, but I know that there's a little inkling in the back of their brains that they all want to do another one.
Yeah. I mean, I'd even be keen to go over to SAWF. Oh
yeah, those guys too over in Adelaide. Yeah,
I'd even be keen to check that out.
Yeah, those guys are pretty fresh really coming up. They've got a lot to learn. They're coming up pretty well though, so
they're improving a lot.
Yeah, for sure. It'd definitely be good trying to work with those guys,
and hopefully TCW can follow in their footsteps and and take our advice on board.
They're on a trampoline though, right?
No.
Oh, they're not? Okay.
No.
I was going to say, fuck
when they first started, they were, but now they're not.
Oh, that's alright then.
Now it's mattresses on the lawn, but that's
XCW,
that's man.
Right.
I can do that.
That's UWF. That's, I can deal with that.
Yeah. Alright, okay.
It's a bit like a shitty base, isn't it?
Yes. Next question from Steele. Top 3 favourite matches in WZW you've seen so far?
Top 3 matches. That question's too hard for me, man. My memory is absolutely terrible, as most people know.
Okay,
I can't.
If you can't do it, you can't do it.
Matches, yeah. Sorry, mate. Any match you're in, Steele, your match is always my favourite on the card.
Alright.
Just to pump him up.
Last question from Steele.
To
encourage.
Yeah.
How much on a scale of 1 to 10 is wrestling and photography a passion for you?
Wrestling and photography?
Not
like together.
I guess not together. Okay. Maybe separate.
Okay. Odd question. How much on a scale of 1 to 10?
It's an odd question. Of course, it's still.
Yeah. How much? All right. Well, I'd say photography is probably my main life passion at the moment.
10.
Yeah, so 9. Let's
Okay.
say a 9
9.
for so wrestling. Let's say related to that because this is a wrestling podcast. Maybe a 7 at the moment. I would say it's definitely up there.
Called it in my head. I thought 7.
Yeah, well, 7 is a number that people automatically go to. That's like a psychological thing as well.
Yeah,
so,
that's true.
Yeah.
Okay. Mykonos, we kind of covered this already. It's like Mykonos, every time we do a podcast, he asks questions that we already kind of covered.
Yeah, and it's usually related to himself as well.
Not this one.
No?
He said, how did you feel when you had to drop the WCWA title after recently having a tattoo done and having to have such a short match?
Okay. Yeah.
We did cover it, so...
Yeah, we did cover that. I mean,
So,
yeah.
listen to part 3 if you haven't already.
Yeah. Well, wrestling with a very recent tattoo is sort of not something I generally want to do. I don't want to compromise that tattoo healing badly.
Yeah.
Especially with it being backyard wrestling as well. Honestly, it's a bit dirty. There's always dirt in the ring. You're touching sweaty people, shit like that.
Yeah.
On a new tattoo, you're always going to have risk infection if you're doing crap like that. Even if you've got it covered, I think the tattoo he's referring to was my calf tattoo.
Yeah.
So for example, wearing my kick pads, my legs are going to get sweaty. I don't want to risk my legs getting sweaty and then my tattoo getting infected, stuff like that.
Gotcha.
Whenever I've had a new tattoo, which is something I do quite regularly for those who don't know me, I never really want to wrestle when I've had a tattoo recently because I don't want to risk that, getting infected and it just hurts anyway. A fresh tattoo is painful.
Get a limb cut off.
Yeah.
Brandon Cage, if... wait, hang on. Okay, sorry. When I first asked this question, I thought it was something else, but it's different.
Yeah.
If I were to have one more match, would you be open to be having the match with him?
Oh, right. Yeah, for sure,
I thought
he
was going to ask if you were to have one more match, who would it be?
Against
if
him?
I were to have one more match, would you be able to have the match?
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah. I'd be keen to wrestle Brandon, yeah. Because we were pretty good friends when he was in the Federation. We sort of drifted apart now that he's doing his own thing. We used to hang out a lot around that stage. And that was when you and I were going to the Bayswater as well, quite a lot. And he would often tag along. We're pretty good friends. As I said, sort of drifted apart, but the connection's still there. For sure, man. I'd be keen to wrestle you.
Okay, what was the moment that defined my time in WCWA? So I think his time in WCWA, what defined his time?
Oh, Brandon's time?
Yeah. What moment defined his time?
I don't fucking... You were there for like 3 shows, man. Come on. I don't... What did he do? What was his match?
Maybe Clash of the Tribes when he leaped off the fucking shed. The roof of the shed.
Oh, yeah.
I guess that would probably...
that reminds me. Yeah. I would say that moment. Honestly, I've always wanted to do a shed spot. It just never happened. You beat me to it, man. Yeah, Brandon beat me to a few spots I wanted to do, actually. He did some really wicked spots. And being right into the spotty hardcore style back then, that was definitely cool to see. He had a cool theme song too, the Bring Me the Horizon one.
Yeah.
So that was always cool to pump people up, come out to.
Okay, he's got 2 more questions. If I hadn't have left, how far do you think I would have went?
Well, I don't know. That was your call, really, man.
I can tell you.
Yeah?
Because I would have been booking it, so I could...
Well,
I'll know how far you went, because I would have booked you.
Yeah, I mean, it's impossible to tell, really, isn't it? It's up to you. How far could you have gone? Would you have... If you didn't leave when you left, would you have left a month later? Would you have left 6 months later? Would you have stayed till the end? I don't know. It's such an open-ended question, man. I think you definitely had the talent to get to the main event status if you stayed. I think you had the look. People loved you when you were a face. Even when you heel turn, you were getting good reactions, man. Yeah, if you had stayed, if you had worked at it, I think you definitely could have gone places. It turned out to be what it is.
I think if his attitude was different, like the sky would have been the limit.
Yeah, that's it.
But like he left once, then he came back, and then after the comeback, he left again.
Yeah.
So it was like, well, if you come back again, then you just have to start from the bottom again.
Yeah, that's it.
Which is where you were to start with. You're at the bottom. You've got to work your way up.
Yeah, yeah. I think his attitude and his commitment was his downfall. I mean, it was totally understandable. You know, he gets busy, he gets passionate about other things. Sure, you know, it's not backyard wrestling isn't always a big thing in your life.
I know, and I know. Within a month's time, things change in people's lives. But,
yeah, for sure.
And that happens all the time. But you know, I compare it to Circus Royale. They were willing to lose almost every match they had for 18 months until they won that tag title.
Yeah.
They fucking really paid their dues, and that was a position that Brandon would have had to have been in. He had to pay his dues a little bit, lose for a little while, and then eventually get those nice things. It's not like ICWS back in the day when the roster was only maybe 10, 11 people.
Yeah.
Where, okay, this is a new guy, he's good, we're going to build him now.
Yeah.
We already had people who hadn't even had that spot.
Oh,
yet.
yeah.
So it's time for them to get that spotlight.
Yeah,
so once they've had their spotlight, and then this guy gets it, then this guy gets it, then maybe it might be his turn. Who knows?
Yeah.
But it's hard to gauge that when someone comes and goes so quickly.
Oh, yeah, that's it, yeah. So basically, I think he could have gone all the way to the top if he was passionate and committed enough. But yeah, obviously it's understandable that backyard wrestling is not a priority for someone. It's it's just a fun thing that some people do.
Yep.
But yeah, I think that was a downfall, which is unfortunate. But yeah, as I said, understandable.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
He also says, "I think you're pretty cute."
Okay, cool.
And want a drag race between my pickup and your hearse.
Yeah, man. You would win. Because my car weighs twice as much as yours does.
Yeah, that's why, because he just wants to at least win something.
Yeah, that might be the only way he'd win, yeah.
Yeah, fair enough, and I can't book that, so... anyway, moving on.
Yeah.
Delcano.
What
has been your favourite entrance music thus far?
I would have to say synchronized beat fuck. That's what I used like in the hardcore.
Did it ever annoy you that people did the thing, the entrance way?
No, I like that because at the time I didn't really know what to do in my entrance. So people doing that sort of not distracted the attention from me, but them humping me in my entrance way would give me something to do, if you know what I mean. You know, something to react to. So instead of having to create something for them to react to, they created it for me to react to. So gotcha. I only had to do half the work.
Gotcha.
Which, being at a time where I wasn't too sure how to portray my character and stuff, that worked well for me.
Do you think it was a mistake to get rid of that theme song when you left the Elite Alliance?
No. I'm glad that
It ran its course?
Yeah, I think it ran its course. It was an absolutely great theme song in the hardcore era, but I think if I use it now, it would be a bit old and stale. I don't think it would suit me too much now.
Okay.
Yeah, because I knew that was a great theme song, that everyone loved it, but so with that, I didn't want it to get stale. I wanted to make sure that was a great thing in my career, even though it's just a theme song. But
yeah,
you know what I mean.
Okay. Did you ever consider pro training, and how seriously?
Yeah, I did. There was a year or two where I was almost definite that I was going to go pro.
Because I thought when I was there, I thought you were definitely going to
on
board.
Yeah, actually, when you were there, that was definitely the time that I thought I was going to be getting into it. Because I'd worked for Schwa for 2 years or something like that. Basically, ever since Eli and DJ joined, I was working for Schwa, mostly on their media crew, or just helping set up the ring or whatever it shows, or even just hanging out, whatever it might have been. So yeah, I was definitely right into the pro scene at that stage. I was definitely thinking of going pro. That was definitely my aspirations at the time. I did a couple of training sessions with them, because I went down to their training sessions every night. I wasn't even training, but I just went to hang out, basically.
Yeah.
But whenever they had a quiet night, they got me in the ring and taught me a few things. So that was sort of the start of my pro training, and I was like, yeah, I want to do this.
I remember having a conversation with Slade, me asking him, what happened to Dan? I thought Dan was going to do it. And
Oh, yeah.
he just like looked kind of down.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And he was like, yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know why I was really excited for him to do it, but he's just doesn't seem keen.
Yeah, it's I don't know, a bit disappointing when you put it like that, I guess.
And in the same thing that we talk about now, what led to you and your relationship with Schwa kind of disappearing? You were filming all of their shows basically, and then all of a sudden you weren't there anymore. What was the reason behind that?
Well, from memory, there was two main factors there. I've been working for them for about 2 years and doing media work, and that was around the stage where I was starting to do media work professionally. Like, that was starting to become my business.
Okay.
So I was getting to the stage where I can't really be, doing work constantly for free. Because I'm trying to make a business out of what I'm doing. So if I keep giving work away for free, I'm not going to get anywhere,
Gotcha.
I wasn't really expecting them to pay me or anything, but it's just sort of the way it panned out.
Okay.
And the other factor was me and Eli. I think that wasn't a huge thing, but around that time was when me and Eli were having a bit of trouble. And he was becoming sort of one of the main wrestlers in their roster. So me and Eli sort of having a bit of trouble was sort of, it's
a part of it.
A part of it, yeah. It sort of made my passion for it sort of wane a little bit.
Okay, next one. If you had to pick one match, this is Del Cano again.
Okay.
If you had to pick one match that really turned out either far better or far worse than you expected going into it, what were they?
If I had to pick one match
that you went into thinking that this was going to be great, or but it turned out to be way better or way worse than you expected.
One match that turned out better or worse. Maybe my match with Nick Ariel in the ICWS versus XCW feud.
Okay.
I wasn't too sure how that was going to turn out, because obviously I'd never met him too much before. I think we had met, hadn't we? But we hadn't wrestled before.
Yeah.
I had no idea how that was going to turn out, but we planned a fair bit and stuff. I thought it'd be okay, but yeah, we really hit it off. We put on an amazing match. Everyone loved it. Very good psychology, stuff like that. Worked well. Any others that turned out better?
Or maybe one that turned out worse than you thought it might have been.
Yeah. Another one that turned out better, maybe the hardcore match at Hard Time 2 with Jacob.
Yeah.
I knew that would be good, but it just turned out like insanely good and like an iconic match for that era. So I suppose that was better than I thought it would be. One that turned out worse, maybe my match with DJ and Dubsy Dub. I think we really expected to knock it out the park with that one, but it just didn't really work for some reason.
Okay.
Unfortunately, well, we talked about it before, but it's probably one that turned out worse than I expected.
Okay. Me chiming in again. Your best partner, Nick James or Chad Yo?
You bastard. Gonna say... it's hard, man.
Carnage Crew or VCA?
I'm gonna go Nick James, purely because I think we just did a bit more, because we had more time together.
You were hardcore champion, he was heavyweight champion.
and
you guys
the
were pretty
championships
much
as well,
top of the pack there.
Yes, I mean, as discussed before, I fucking loved it with Chad Yo, but purely just because we had more time and more happened sort of championship-wise and stuff, I'll just have to say Nick James. But, realistically, comparing them, neither is better than the other.
Okay. Deacon, which wrestler was your childhood favourite? I think it was Rey Mysterio. Childhood, getting into it, Rey Mysterio, John Cena. Unfortunately. Okay.
Yeah.
Deacon again. Where would you like your whole Dan Zeplin media career to go?
Okay, another non-wrestling.
Another non-wrestling one,
Basically, I would just like to make a comfortable living off it. I'm getting there at this stage. I'm starting to get a fair bit of work, getting known out around Perth and stuff. Shooting a lot of burlesque, circus, street photography, stuff like that. But yeah, it would definitely be good to try and make a living off that. Yeah, I suppose that's sort of the dream at the moment. Be able to work for myself, not working for some other motherfucker's dream. Work for my own dream. Yeah, just trying to be able to live with it, basically, without having to try and conform to all the corporate like weddings and couple photography and bollocks like that. I'm not into that style. I'd rather shoot the raw and nasty stuff.
Okay. Last question from Deacon. Hey, Dan.
Hey, Deacon.
Ah, shit. He's got you there, bro.
Yeah, but Deacon, listen.
Owned.
Running joke there for anyone who doesn't know. I apologise for that.
Your girlfriend has chimed in with a question. How sexy am I?
Yeah, nice tits. Lovely tits.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Nothing more?
No, the rest is rubbish.
The rest is rubbish?
Yeah.
The arse? The legs?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, you remind me. Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah.
You know what? From head to toe, 4 out of 10. Terrible. No, you're lovely. You're lovely, babe. Nice
okay.
One. You're making me get all soppy in the podcast. Come on, man.
Hydro's chimed in.
Again?
Same question above, but for me. Same question above, but for me. So how sexy is Hydro?
Oh, how sexy is Hydro? I haven't seen him naked.
Need to gauge that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I've seen my girlfriend naked. So I can
really...
So you
know how sexy she is,
I know how sexy she is.
You don't know how sexy Hydra is, because you haven't seen that ass.
Yeah, so send me a nude, man. I think we've got each other on Snapchat, or just Facebook, or whatever.
Or Instagram,
I'd screenshot a Snapchat
Instagram,
anyway.
Personal message, or Twitter?
Oh, yeah, Insta, man. Yeah.
Find him on it.
I'm not on Twitter.
I am.
Yeah, send me a nude, man, and I'll let you know.
Okay, Knuckles, same question above, but for me.
Yeah, no, don't send me a nude.
Why is he the one that you...
I'm just gonna...
You want to see Hydro, but
I'm just gonna guess that big old Albanian sausage is, a nice one that the ladies want.
God, I bet it's fucking tasty.
Albanian, man.
Yeah, man.
He's gonna get really pissed off at it. You know he's actually Serbian, not Albanian. He's gonna get pissed off at me saying Albanian.
He won't listen.
On purpose, by the way.
He won't listen to this fucking podcast. Okay, we're getting to our last few questions here from Dark Ice. I'll check on the thread to see if there's been more, but I doubt it. How did you come up with your current in-ring name? Well, we kind of covered the Cannibal thing.
Yeah, it's my name. Dan Zeplin.
Dan Zeplin. Also, where did the name Voltage come from? Well, we did cover that in the first part of the series.
Yeah. We covered it before. Basically, I don't know. I was just looking online and stuff. I think I found the name online somewhere. I don't know. It's I was just scouring the net, or wherever I got ideas from at the time. I don't particularly know where it came from, but it was just a word that stuck in my head, basically, and it just popped up from there.
Okay. From there, Dark Ice asks this very, very important question. If SPWS ever returned, would you feel like you should be the champ and have power in the Fed?
Well, naturally, yeah, because I was the one to end the Federation and, basically beat all the SPWS guys to become...
I'm thinking heel Dan Zeplin. He's got the title. He doesn't even really want it. He's like, I ended this company years ago, and now it's back, and now I'm obligated to defend my championship. This is ridiculous. And then you drop the championship to Aston Creed so I can add another one to my resume.
Yeah, you'd like that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I would. No, but seriously.
Yeah, well...
Would you like to come in as champ and be a part of it, even
well,
if it's just for a short run?
We'd have to, really, because that's the storyline that SPWS ended with, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it wouldn't make any sense if I wasn't the champ in the GM. Yeah, that'd be fun. I doubt that will ever happen. I can't see another SPWS show happening. But hey, for shits and gigs, if it happened, then yeah, that'd be sweet.
Well, I've heard Chaos is moving to Armidale soon, and there'll be a backyard big enough to support a base.
Oh, there we go. Could have something happening.
That was the idea.
Okay.
Dark Ice, how would you see your life without wrestling?
I've thought about this before, and I have no idea. Hey, as I briefly mentioned before, it's been something I've done every month for 8 or 9 years now, 8 years I think, somewhere around there. You know, it's something that's constantly on my mind. You know, as I hear a song that I haven't heard before, and I'm like, oh, this would be a good song for a wrestling video. This would be a good entrance song, whatever. Yeah, basically almost every aspect of my life away from wrestling can be influenced by wrestling, you know what I mean? Are you the same?
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah, or almost everything you can relate to wrestling because you're so passionate about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, my life without wrestling, I have no idea, hey. Yeah,
you'd probably be like the bass player in some hardcore band. You probably would have gotten to music. Probably would have gotten to music or something.
Yeah, who knows? I don't know. It's crazy to think about, isn't it? Because like 9 years of it being a constant thing in my life. How can you imagine that? You know, just not being a thing.
Yeah.
I have no idea. Hey. Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't be friends with all
I'd be an arsehole, I reckon.
Yeah, you'd be a cunt, like you still are.
Absolute prick.
But yeah, like all the people I've met through wrestling, I wouldn't know. You know, stuff like I wouldn't be here recording this right now, obviously.
Yeah, you wouldn't even be here. I wouldn't be here.
Yeah, you know, everything in my life, especially wrestling, has led me to this point. So you know, it's sort of impossible to imagine it without wrestling.
Exactly. Okay, also from Dark Ice, how does it feel owning one of the rarest cars in Perth/Australia?
Good, mate, good. Not surprised that question coming from you.
Of course.
For those who don't know, I own a 1966 Cadillac Hearse, which is the only one in Australia, as far as we know. It's an old classic. It's a hearse, still a fully fit out hearse.
And it's giving your dad a very nice little hobby.
Yeah, that's it. Me and my dad, thank you very much.
I'm enjoying his updates on Facebook.
On the fast book?
How things are going.
Yeah.
You know, had to order this, and this is what's happening, and gave it a bit of a blurt the other day.
Been a while since we had an update on the caddy. Here's what's going on, guys. But yeah, man, another non-backyard wrestling.
It feels sick.
Yeah, it feels sick. Another non-backyard wrestling related question.
It feels just as good as sex with his own girlfriend. That's how.
You know what?
Or even better.
You know what? Even better.
Oh my!
If we had
God,
sex in the hearse, which I'm surprised we haven't done yet.
Really?
We haven't popped the hearse cherry yet. There's plenty of room for a good fuck in there. Yeah, we haven't done it yet.
Well, should better hurry up because get a few more into us tonight. Maybe I'll get into the back of that hearse with you.
There we go.
Yeah, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll do a podcast. Mate. That's what you mean, right?
That'll be a prodcast. Dark Ice. Where will Dan Zeplin be in 5 years? Such a deep question.
I don't know. Sitting at Carl's new house making a new podcast about the good old days.
Another podcast.
5 years. I'll be performing by then, doing sideshow circus stuff. That's something I'm working heavily on now. So yeah, by then I should be well into that. Photography, if I'm still passionate about that, which I plan to be. Hopefully I'll be a successwrestling photographer. Wrestling-wise...
I doubt you'll be gone in 2020.
Honestly, backyard wrestling in general, I doubt that'll exist in WA.
I think by then I'll be done by then. So once I'm done, who's going to keep fucking getting on everyone's ass to keep going?
That's it.
It'll be up to everyone else.
It's sort of depressing to think about it. Like 5 years doesn't seem that long.
5 years time, SAWF or TCW might be the best feds in Australia.
Yeah.
By proxy.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
just because they're the only ones.
Yeah, honestly, in 5 years, I don't know if Dubsy Dub, IC Dub will still be going.
I'm sure DJ would like to keep it going, but DJ, I am not interested in 2020.
We'll buy them if it is still going. I think rather than being like a serious, backyard wrestling federation, it'll be more like a social thing. Like, oh guys, let's get together and do that thing we did when we were kids. Let's have a good time.
Yeah.
Rather than like a serious wrestling
Well,
federation.
by then I hope to be the biggest rock star in Australia, so I'll be long gone.
There you go.
I'll be long gone, but. Yeah, hopefully everything will be going successfully for you.
Thank you,
photography and all that in 5 years' time.
Thank you.
And of course, what you would like to do, of course, is the the carny related stuff.
Yeah, getting into sideshow performing. So like sword swallowing, juggling knives, fire chainsaws, lifting weights with my eye sockets, unicycling, stuff like that. That's the sort of stuff I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting into that side of performing at the moment. Been training to get to that. Might see a bit of influence in that from that in wrestling. Never know.
Okay. Just Mike
Ooh,
was
question from
chimed
Just
in
Mike.
at the last minute.
Okay.
At 1 minute to 9. It's now 5:09.
Yeah.
Just Mike asks, I'd like to know what Zeppelin's first impressions of XCW were. Compared to other feds, our wrestling skills were certainly not up to scratch. Our promos were ridiculous and we copied WWE a lot. What was there to love from an outsider's point of view, apart from the fucking sick media side of things?
Well, basically, all those factors you mentioned, Mike, were the things I loved about it. The promos, the segments and stuff like that absolutely made it totally different to what we were doing in ICW. We were very wrestling based. Everything was about the wrestling. We did promos and segments and stuff on the side, but yeah, we were very wrestling based. Whereas you guys were entertainment based. You did promos, you did segments in obviously wrestling, which were all very entertaining. I'd say that's the key word, entertaining. You guys were almost every match, every segment, it was entertaining in some form. Whether it was funny, whether it was progress on storylines and stuff, serious, funny, anything. It was always entertaining.
Cool.
And I think one of the main factors was that it was so different to what we were doing. Because as I said, we were really trying to forward ourselves as wrestlers, where you guys, you were trying to just be entertaining and having fun and stuff. It was a totally different environment.
Okay.
While doing the same sort of thing as us. It was just good to see how other guys did it, and also just simply the fact that we were stoked there was other people doing backyard wrestling in Perth.
Yeah, other than you guys. Excellent. Alright, I managed to get a question from Chris Zeplin. Right in the dying seconds, just then, I was messaging him and he just got in. I said to him, look, I've got one more question and I need one from you.
Just before you ask that, I can see you talking to your girlfriend there. Try and get a question out of your girlfriend. See what she wants to ask.
No,
yeah, go on.
No, she's probably in bed and she's probably saying goodnight to me, so no, alright? Let's just get to the Chris Zeplin question. Okay. What matches / feuds have you been involved in where you didn't like how it was booked? If so, what would you have done differently?
Let me read that again. What matches, feuds have you been involved in where you didn't like how it was booked? If so, what would you have done differently? Where I didn't like how it was booked. Honestly, I don't think there was anything. I'm sorry, I know that's a boring answer.
This is the last question. He wants some dirt.
You want to hear some dirty juice.
Let's think about this, Dan.
I am thinking about this, but the thing is, let me just say,
ICWS's return, SPWS's team, the feud with Tim Justice, the feud with me, your run in WZWA, feuding with the likes of a Kilowatt Chaos, a
Mm.
Three Dog, an Antilochus, a Rebellion, etc., etc. Is there anything over this time, if you could change a result or something in all this time, everything that ever happened, could you change one thing?
No.
Okay, so you're happy with everything
Isn't
that
that
ever
boring?
happened. So
Well,
nothing that you regret.
Booking wise, I'm happy to go with the flow, and being sort of a big name in all the companies so far. I hate saying stuff like that because I feel cocky.
No, you
but
are. So shut up.
Yeah,
alright?
well, there you go, basically. But
It ain't bragging.
just
if you
for the
back it
record,
up.
I hate
It ain't
saying stuff like
bragging
that.
if you back it up, man.
Yeah, just for the record, I hate saying stuff like that because I don't want to sound cocky or anything, but you know, I did what I did. But yeah, honestly, booking wise, I've always been treated very well. And on top of that, I'm easy. Like booking wise, as long as I'm having fun in the ring, I'm not too happy what happens. I'm not too happy what happens. I'm not too fussed what happens. I'm happy with whatever happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, booking wise, yeah. As long as I'm having fun, entertaining people, I'm happy with what I'm doing. I've never been too picky. I've never been like, oh, I want a championship. Oh, I want to wrestle so and so. I want to, do this. I'm just like, what do you bookers want me to do? Okay, cool. Sounds sweet. I'm down for that. So yeah, honestly, booking wise, I don't think there's anything I've been unhappy with. Yeah, 'cause as well as that, as I said, I've always been treated well. So yeah, no, honestly, I can't think of anything I've been unhappy with.
Okay.
Good booking, man. Good booking.
Yes. And to Chris as well.
And to Chris, yeah.
Yep.
Cheers, bro.
Good work. Good work, mate. All right. Well, that's. It appears that is the end of the Q&A. I have not been able to score any more questions, but we're 100. We're an hour and 40 minutes into this podcast.
Jesus. Never feels that long, does it?
No, it just seems like it just keeps fucking whizzing by. It's 9:10. Can you believe it?
Speaking of whizzing.
It's 9:10.
Speaking
We
of
started at like 4:30 or something. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's been nearly 5 hours. Anyway, I'm going to do a little bit of word association.
Sure.
I want to kind of cover some people maybe you haven't had the chance to really talk about.
Alright.
Jack Wallace.
Jack Wallace. Sorry, are we talking like personally or wrestling? Or
Think about
a bit of both?
whatever you think about them as a wrestler,
Yeah.
as a person, whatever you want.
Okay. Jack Wallace. See, I have to think now. And that's not really what word association is about, is it? I always enjoy watching him wrestle because I feel like he is always improving. I always want to see what he's going to pull out in a new match, especially when he's in a passionate phase, because his passion, is on and off, isn't it?
But right now, the passion's right there.
Yeah, that's it. So,
Some point.
yeah, whenever he's in a passionate phase, I'm always very interested to see what he's going to pull out. Yeah, it's always fun seeing a Wallace match. Seeing him try out the new stuff that he's got in mind.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Johnny V.
Johnny V. Oh, I love him. So entertaining. Probably one of the most entertaining dudes that have graced the ring of not only WWA, but obviously XCW as well. Going to the XCW shows just before they wrapped up the Federation was always so entertaining to see what Johnny was going to do. And not only that, he's a good wrestler. Maybe compared to your Clint Marshall and Mike Delcano, the technical wrestling
Technically?
is not absolutely great,
but when you watch a match of his, do you notice?
Yeah, that's it. Psychology wise, entertainment wise, he is fucking up there, and I think those are the two most important things you need to be a sexful wrestler.
Oh my
Sexful
god,
wrestler.
that's hot.
Yeah, you can have all the wrestling talent in the world, but if you're a boring motherfucker, you're a boring motherfucker in the ring. Whereas
That's right.
if you've got the entertainment factor, you're going to entertain people no matter how good you are in the ring, really. So yeah, Johnny V is one of those dudes. He doesn't need to be technically amazing, even though he's pretty up there anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I fucking love Johnny. I'd love to wrestle him one day.
MC Cruel. Another one that really meant a lot to the history of ICW.
Yeah. Yeah, I love the dude. Wrestling wise, we absolutely work well together. We click so well. Great chemistry. Yeah, I would love to wrestle him again one day. Now that we're both at a higher level, but obviously he's pro now, so that's never going to happen.
It will never happen.
No, but you know, like the thought of us wrestling again would just be amazing. Like,
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
People might even be willing to pay to see.
Yeah, yeah. Schwa, if you're listening,
Schwa, if you're listening, get him
me.
trained up.
Yeah.
People will pay to see that match.
Cannibal's Rules match.
None of your Schwa fans even would give a damn, but all of us boys would be like, I'll pay my $10 to see this match.
There you go. You made what?
More money than they've ever
maybe
made.
10 guys
that
will come
match
down.
has drawn more money than any other match.
$100 for you guys. Straight up. There we go.
people.
And personally, I wish we were still good friends. I would love to be good chums with Eli again.
Well, as I said last time, might be an idea to hang out sometime.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Maybe, you know what, kick back, you DJ Eli, pop on some old footage and have a laugh.
There we go.
Sounds like a good
Planned
idea.
out. Thanks, Groot.
No worries, mate. I'll try. Okay, Clint Marshall.
Excellent dude. I wish I knew him better. He's sort of always seemed to keep himself a little separated from the rest of us boys.
Well, you've got 4 months to get to know him.
Yeah,
he's fucking out of it.
Yeah, because he's always quite busy. So I feel like he'd never have too much time for a chat online, and then it shows he's often not there for the whole show, or if he is, he's sort of hanging out with Zach and Justin and stuff. Yeah, I'd love to get to know him better. Wrestling wise, absolutely great to work with. I always get a bit nervous for my matches with him because I know I'm going to be thrown around so much.
You know, you got to really...
And there's always all these spots that I have to try and remember and pull off excellently. Yeah, I always know I'm in for a good fight with Zibby. Yeah, which is great, but also makes me nervous at the same time, which is good. Yeah.
Blaze.
I wish we were still in contact. We were very good friends when he first started ICWS.
He's still on Facebook.
Yeah, he is. We're not Facebook friends anymore though. I can't remember why. I think either one of us had a friend, Cole. You know, we hadn't talked for a couple of years. So.
Fair enough.
But yeah, I don't know. I wish we were still in contact, even though I feel like we probably wouldn't really be friends anyway. But yeah, I don't know. He was an important part of ICWS in the early days because and UWF. He was in UWF as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was an important part. He was a good roster member. He was always good fun to wrestle. He was never super athletic. Never really knew how to sell or anything like that. But yeah, back in the day, not many people really did.
Okay.
Yeah, good fun. I wish we were still in contact.
Here's a tough one. Overkill.
Back in the early ICWS days or UWF days, I never really liked him. He was quite full on. He was sort of violent in the ring. Our personalities just didn't really match up. But I think we caught up once or twice, like at parties and stuff. Sort of more recently, like a couple of years ago now, but more recently than when we used
days,
to. Yeah. And yeah, he seemed to be better, but we haven't had any contact whatsoever in the past few years. So, you know, I don't really know what he's like these days. I'm sure he's an excellent fellow.
Yeah. Knuckles,
I love Knuckles. He's an awesome fella. Absolutely great dude to hang out with. Very nice, very helpful.
Solid bloke.
Yeah, just solid bloke all around.
You always know where he's coming from.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
if he likes you, he likes you. He doesn't like you, he doesn't
yeah,
like you.
Yeah, he's quite a straight up dude. Very quiet. Yeah, great dude. In the ring, I was surprised how well we meshed together. Actually, we put on a really good match when we'd never even touched before. Yeah, Knuckles. He's a good fella. I love Knuckles. Should hang out more.
Yes, for sure. I'd love to hang out.
Knuckles, if you're listening, we should get kebabs at that kebab store that you go to with Chris, my brother.
And if you're listening, Knuckles, let's do a podcast, brother.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
Yeah.
The playgroup. We
Fun times,
didn't really touch on it too much because we're focusing on the Dan Zeplin thing.
Yeah, you have to do an interview with El Queso Grande for that one.
Looking forward to that one.
Yeah. Me not speak English. And what did you think of Halloween Hell 2010? Me not speak English. Yeah, no, Playgroup was good fun. I always remember the funny promos we did. One of the main memories of that is when Chris Zeplin slapped. What was Johnston's?
Obi.
Oh no, that was Eli.
Eli was Sam.
Oh, Eli, yeah, Obi. So yeah, Obi. When Chris Zeplin slapped Obi in the old ICWS arena.
That's amazing. I want to see some of this old stuff.
Yeah, I think that clip is online still.
Okay.
We'll have to have a look for it.
Is it the Playgroup story? Check it out on
Most
YouTube.
likely, yeah.
Taylor, if you're listening, search the Playgroup story on the ICWS channel.
Yeah,
you will not be disappointed.
Yeah, for anyone, just quickly for anyone who doesn't know, Playgroup was just like a silly mask character stable, which we sort of just used for a bit of humour in shows and to fill a few gaps every now and then. Whenever someone needed building up with a squash match, we just put them against the Playgroup, which was myself as El Casagrande, MC Cruel as Sam, and Nitro, Declan Diamond, or Dana Johnston as Obi. And yeah, we just fucked around all the time. We did some funny promos. We had a feud with Chris Zeplin, the general manager. He always got in our face and stuff. It was good fun.
Pirate Pete,
yeah, that was good fun.
Pirate Pete was kind of the...
Wait, did I say El Queso Grande was in the Playgroup?
He was at the end, wasn't he?
Yeah, at the end,
Pirate Pete.
What I meant to say, what I should have said, was Pirate Pete being in the Playgroup. Yeah, it was Pirate Pete, Sam, and Obi. Pirate Pete was my very old mask character. I'm pretty sure the Pirate Pete mask was a pirate mask I got from the Royal Show, or something rubbish like that. He was just sort of a squash match filling character before El Queso Grande existed.
It's kind of like the precursor to EQG.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, sort of like one of the first characters that we used to fill in spots whenever we needed it.
Mike Delcano.
Love the dude. Back in the day, he was sometimes a little hard to deal with, sort of booking wise. He sort of wanted everything so quickly.
Yeah.
But yeah, these days, I love the dude. He's a very smart man. He's very cool to hang out with. I hope this rain isn't.
This rain will be picked up by the microphone.
Yeah, I hope it's not.
We'll
anyway,
they'll hear us over it. So.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I love Mike. He's a great dude. And wrestling wise as well, he's fantastic. He knows that though. He doesn't need me to blow smoke up his ass.
No.
Yeah, great wrestler, great dude. Love him.
Alex Stone.
Once again, same deal really. Love Alex Stone. I wish he had a bit more time to chat to us and hang out with us and stuff. That's the only downfall for Alex.
I would too.
Yeah.
Last time
we
I
all
saw
love
him was the podcast that I did with him, and I didn't even get to talk to him other than asking him questions about wrestling.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Yeah, love the dude. Absolutely great dude. But he's just so busy all the time, or he's doing stuff, whatever.
He's got work. He's got band. He's got girlfriend.
Yeah. He's such a busy dude. But yeah, absolutely amazing. Very talented. Not only in wrestling, but with his music and everything he's doing. I love Alex. Yeah, I just wish he had more time to hang with us, or at least interact on Facebook with us and stuff. Yeah, it'd be good to hear from him a little bit more often. Yeah, he's great to hang out with, great to chat to. It's just be good to see a bit more of him.
Wicked Nick James.
Same deal, really. Yeah, funny to bring him up next to Alex. Same deal, really. Great dude, love him. I wish we could hang out a bit more. Lives about 2 hours away now, like 2 hour drive away. So it's a bit hard to hang with him these days. But yeah, I love him. Obviously, we've got a whole lot of history together in the ring. I'd love to see him back in the ring again. He did that one match in ICWS recently, but I'd love to see him do an actual proper return.
I'd love to see a Carnage Crew reunion.
Oh yeah, that'd be great. I hope that happens for sure. Personally, great dude. Again, I'd love to chat with him more, hang out with him more. Yeah, make it happen, Nick.
Blade Shaw,
I'm so glad that he's back in the ring. I remember working with him at an old XCW show, and it was good fun. That was a play group versus Blade Shaw, just a bit of a squash match for him.
Actually wrestled at XCW.
Yeah, surprisingly, don't know how that happened. But yeah, a bit of a squash match for Blade, and it was so fun just working with him. So yeah, I'm so glad he's back in WWA. Our match together recently, as Dan Zeplin and Blade Shaw, was not fantastic, but I definitely feel like we could work a better match now that we know each other better. And personally, I love being friends with him. He's a wicked dude. Yeah, love him.
Just Mike.
Great dude. I love Just Mike. I'm saying I love everyone. I'm not even that drunk. I love you all. You're all lovely. No, Just Mike is great. I admire him for all the media stuff that he's doing. He's got a career in photography and general media and all that stuff. Look up to him for that, and also in the ring, very entertaining fella. One of the best heels that I've ever seen perform, I think. So yeah, being a heel, he was someone to look up to for sure. I would have loved to work with him in the ring. But yeah, seeing him perform in the ring was a pleasure. Yeah, always good to see him wrestle. Daniel, or even just referee, whatever he did.
Yes, Daniel Johnston, the man himself.
Yeah, good old friend of mine for years and years. One of the first dudes I met. Well, I think the first dude I met in the whole backyard wrestling thing. He was the one who got me into it, as well as Eli. But he was. I feel like DJ was sort of running shit a bit more than Eli was at that stage. I don't know. He's just the first dude I met anyway. Yeah, we've been friends for since 2008, so 7 years, 8 years. Yeah, always been good friends ever since we met. We should hang out a bit more. We live pretty close to each other, so we don't hang out often enough. As much as we should. In the ring, we've always had good chemistry. Our last match should have been better. If we wrestle again, I know it'll be really good. We know what we're doing. Love him. Good dude.
Brian Lowe.
Good friend. I love Brian. Feels weird calling him Brian.
He does.
We've called him Brian for all this podcast.
My cat's name is Brian.
That's true. I love your cat too.
Yeah.
Is that who you meant? Am I talking about your
Brian
cat?
Lowe. Brian Lowe. No, Brian Lowe.
I would love to wrestle your cat, Brian. So that probably won't happen. Brian Lowe. A good friend. We obviously had that trouble with me dating his ex-girlfriend. So recently, after they broke up.
Well, I think it's proved to be a long-term relationship, so it wasn't for no reason.
It
wasn't like it was over after a month. It's still
that's it. But yeah, me and him have always clicked as good friends. We're into a lot of the same things, or at least we connect on a lot of things. He's a great dude to be friends with. He's sort of very understanding and very. He's quite intelligent for his age as well, as much as he sometimes doesn't give off when he's getting stoned and shit all the time. But, actually, he doesn't seem to be too much into that these days. Since his new girlfriend, he's been straightening himself up.
I think he's a bit over it.
He's definitely a good dude. I love chatting to him whenever we chat. We don't chat super often, but whenever we do, it's like we never stop chatting, you know. So, great dude. Love him. Love to hang out with him more.
Yeah. Tim Justice.
Tim. That's a weird one. Great dude. Love him, but sometimes he's. I don't know what. You know what I'm trying to say.
Over emotional,
over enthusiastic, a bit touchy. Everyone loves him. He's good friends with everyone.
He lies a lot.
He feels like he has to impress everyone all the time. I think that basically sums him up. Yeah.
Yeah, and I know he's not listening to this, but I know he must know deep down that sometimes he says things that aren't exactly truthful.
Yeah, he has to know.
And it's he's just saying them just to try and impress us, but you don't need to impress us. We already like you.
That's it. Like he's always trying to impress people. By claiming he's done these things. But like any other of my friends, I don't need these accolades or these things that you've done to be friends with you.
Yeah.
I just want to be friends with you. So Tim, he's I don't know. We don't talk too much these days, but whenever I do hang with him, he's wicked. But yeah, back in the day, he tried to impress people too much. He definitely could have worked on that. But yeah, these days, wicked dude. I don't talk to him enough. We don't hang out enough. But when we do hang out and talk, he's wicked. Good fun.
Right on. Aston Crude.
Nah, fuck him. Who else?
Dark Ice.
Aston Crude. I don't know. What can I say? Just
I had to say it was one of your biggest feuds ever.
Well, yeah, that's it.
I gotta be part of it.
I don't know. I don't know where to start. I'm talking in third person.
I'm right here.
Yeah, I'm talking in third person, but
you're
right here. You
Yeah.
have been, one of the biggest dudes in WA yarding. Not only behind the scenes, but in the ring.
And also in size.
Yeah, huge dick. That's how I got my title shot. Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't even know what to say. Just, one of the biggest names in wrestling and behind the scenes. He has done so much for backyard wrestling, the WA backyard wrestling. I don't know.
No, sorry, correct you. Australian backyard
backyard wrestling.
The Hall of Fame,
the Hall of Fame.
Speaking of that, the Australian Backyard Wrestling Hall of Fame.
What do I think of that?
What do you think of that? And would you like to be inducted at some point? I think you'll be one of those rare cases where you'll be inducted while you're still wrestling.
You reckon?
I reckon.
There you go, spoilers.
Maybe not the next class, but I reckon the class afterward.
Oh, so I'm not worthy of this class?
No, not yet. I don't.
Oh, okay.
There's too many people, but after that, it'll be easier.
Yeah, righto.
Your brother's got to get in first, man.
Fair enough. He was there longer than me.
Game for a while now.
He was in the game for 2 shows more than me. The Australian Backyard Wrestling Hall of Fame is, it recognises the people who I was going to say have been and gone, but that sounds sort of like it's
not too much.
It sounds like it's just inducting the has-beens.
Accomplished things, and are remembered and have been an influence on other people.
That's a good way to explain it. Who have influenced people, who have done a whole lot in backyard wrestling. To some people it doesn't mean a whole lot to them, but to other people, like you and I, it's the things people have done in Australian backyard wrestling, it means a whole lot. Like the East Coast guys who influenced us so much to become better wrestlers, which in turn influenced us to, be better friends and keep at this hobby we're doing and, do amazing things and blah, blah, blah. So, not only within the amazing wrestling they were doing, they influenced us as people and, influenced our friendships and stuff like that. So, yeah, I'm just sort of rattling on now, but yeah, that's sort of the type of influence that some people have. And they're the sort of people who are getting inducted into the Backyard Wrestling Hall of Fame.
I just think if people know of you and know who you are, and they know that you've been doing it for a long time, and you're someone that's been an influence in some way or another. Like, look, Just Mike's not the best actual wrestler, but his influence
he
on
did
XCW
so much for us,
was so great. Blade Shaw.
Yeah.
Again, like, he's a good wrestler, solid wrestler. Has he had, like, those amazing main event runs as, like, a top guy in a company? No. But he's been up there and he's won different championships. He's still done so much. But he has still accomplished a lot, and his influence on WCWA in the last year certainly has put him over the line as far as being a booking guy is concerned. And now he's also helping booking ICWS. So without a doubt. So there's heaps of examples that we can go through.
I think it's just nice recognising the people that have done a lot for us, even if they don't realise it. Like, I think some of the East Coast guys are like, oh, why is this a thing?
They say it, And then when they win it, their tune changes
Oh,
immediately.
yeah.
Adam
Yeah.
Chunky was the first person
Yeah.
to be like, I don't know who these guys are, they shouldn't be in the Hall of
Yeah.
Fame. He gets in the Hall of Fame. Carl, thank you so much.
Yeah.
This means a lot to
Yeah.
me. Thank you for making the effort to make a video for me and sending me an award.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, it means different things to different people, but I think, well, as you just said, really, when people get recognised by it, they're sort of like, oh yeah, I did do this thing for a few years. It was a big part of my life. It's nice to have the recognition that you sort of did something. And as I said, it means different things to different people, but
I've kind of died down on it a little bit. I mean, the next class has already been decided, but I still haven't announced it, and I still haven't, because I've still got to make music videos for Linny, James Sinai, and Underminer. I still haven't done them yet because
you're getting lazy. Yeah, you're getting lazy.
But you know, because I kept doing them, and I just felt like I wasn't getting appreciation for them. But now I've got to get onto it so I can get the next class going. But anyway, that aside, Rex Regan.
He I hate to say it, it's sort of offensive, but the first thing that comes to mind is him sort of pissing people off. He's very, very opinionated, very, very political, very, very... You know, he likes people to know his opinions, but in recent... maybe in the recent year or so, whatever.
This year he's been great.
Yeah, this year he's been great. I'm very glad to be friends with him. Me and him have been getting closer and closer. I stayed at his house the other night, actually. It's been great getting to know him. In the ring, he's always improving. He's always been being a main event caliber, wrestling wise. Always fun to see him wrestle. He's always pulling out cool spots, and he knows his psychology, stuff like that. Personally as a friend, I'm loving to get to know him, as I think I said. Cool guy. He starting to work out his sort of social issues. That makes it sound worse than it is, I think.
No, but like, we know what you mean. Like,
I mean, he was sort of annoying to try and have a good conversation with and stuff. He'd always get political or always bring up bullshit and stuff like that. But yeah, he's a really good dude to hang with these days. So yeah, I'm having fun getting to know him and hang out with him a lot more.
All right, Luke Monet.
Love Luke. We haven't got together in the ring enough. He can have a good match with anyone, really. He just knows how to sell everyone's strengths and take use of his own strengths. Always good to see him wrestle. I would love to wrestle him more.
Hopefully we can line
always
it up.
good fun. Always good fun.
Hopefully
And personally, as friends, I've been getting to know him a little bit more recently, and he's good fun. Great dude.
Cool. Still Kemsley.
Same dealio, really. He's becoming a good friend. Me and him have quite a lot in common. He's doing the same course that I did at TAFE, getting into the same sort of thing as I'm doing, so that's always good. I've always been happy to spend time on him. I feel like he doesn't get enough recognition, sort of socially, if you know what I mean. He should hang out with people more and
cool.
stuff like that. Great dude, love him.
Cool.
Sorry, I got a bit distracted.
That's
yes.
alright. Ryan Tate.
Love Ryan. In the ring, he can work a good match with anyone. He's such an entertainer, as I think I said before. He can work such a fucking solid match with anyone. He knows how to tell stories. His character, his storylines, his wrestling ability, fucking amazing. Whatever he wants to do, he fucking nails it. Whatever you want him to do, he fucking nails it. Personally, he's fucking great to hang out with. Great dude. Mr. Memory, he memorizes everything. It's fucking ridiculous. But yeah, love him.
Alright, we'll get to a few more now. Three Dog.
Oh, I wish he was still around, man. Such a good dude to hang with.
He will be back. Apparently he will be back for Hardcore Hell.
Well, honestly, I'm skeptical.
The only reason he missed the last show is because I told Mitch to tell him about it, and then Mitch forgot to. Then Aaron had to go at Mitch by text message saying, "What the fuck, dude? I need to know these things."
Okay,
and
right.
Hey, maybe get Facebook, dickhead. Maybe get your Facebook back and get in touch with us. Stop being off the fucking radar and be in touch with us.
Yeah, that's it. I love Aaron.
One of the best dudes to be around.
Yeah. I started hanging out with him a fair bit outside of wrestling, and he was really cool to hang out with.
I'd love to just hang out with him and just split a carton with him and
that's it. Yeah,
watch some footage.
He's one of those dudes where you can just share a carton or share a 50 or whatever with and you're gonna have a fun time. Sober, you're gonna have a fun time with him. Sounds like we're total druggies here. But I love Aaron. I wish he was still around. I'm honestly pretty sad that he's not around anymore. But yeah, as I said, I'm sort of skeptical, not even drunk, skeptical of him coming back. But yeah, I really hope it happens because he's so good to hang out with. And in the ring, he's fucking amazing as well. So.
Excellent. Kilowatt Chaos, another one of your big rivals from back in the day.
Yeah, Chaos.
Would love to see another round with you two, that's for sure.
Oh, we can always go around. We can always keep going. Basically, we're going to have good chemistry forever. I don't think we can have a bad match.
Unless the camera cuts out halfway through and you've got to stop.
Oh, yeah. Classic cameraman.
Classic WZWA.
Yeah. But yeah, me and Chaos, we've always worked so well together. We've always got a similar idea of wrestling, I think. We work so well together. Kind of a bad match with him. And yeah, personally, hanging out with him, amazing. Always fun with him, even when he's blind drunk, when he doesn't shut up. Doesn't even take a breath for 30 minutes. Which we've experienced a few times recently.
We have, yes.
But yeah, I fucking love Chaos. He's one of my brothers. Love him.
Mojo Flow. Everyone's waiting to hear what you have to say about that faggot.
Do I have to spend time talking about him?
Not really.
My voice.
Just rip on him. Just rip on him.
I don't talk very much, and my voice is starting to get hoarse. I don't know if you can hear it, but
Chris the Horseman, right?
Yeah, no. My voice is starting to get a little bit sore talking this much. I'm not going to waste my voice on Mojo Flow. Thank you very much.
Chris the Horseman, right?
Fucking.
What are you supposed to say about a guy you met maybe once or twice?
No, honestly, I love Chris.
You remember?
Oh yeah, I remember Chris. Yeah,
cool.
We're friends on Facebook and everything.
Gotta love Chris the Horseman, right?
Chris is cool. I don't know. I wish we hung out more. He seems like a wicked fella. I was always very entertained by his wrestling matches. Actually,
yeah, he's ridiculous.
Great wrestler.
He's a human rag doll.
I love his selling. Whenever he bumps anything, or even if he doesn't bump, I've
been trying to get him to come back to at least just do guest referee role. I think
I would love that. Yeah,
just to have Chris be there to be a guest referee.
Honestly, I can't see him wrestling. No, but as a referee or something, that I would love to see that. Please, Chris. I know you're not. I know you're not listening. But please come back and at least do a referee spot or something. You're not listening, but
Dark Ice.
No, fuck him.
Another rival from back in the day. You entered his federation for good. Sent him back to the gallows where it belongs.
The gallows. What? So he got hung?
I don't know.
No, Dark Eyes is one of my main brothers. He's one of my best mates these days. In the ring, kind of a bad match with him. Even one of our worst matches is one of our best matches, if you know what I'm saying.
But what about before off camera when you said that you thought he was a bit of a faggot?
Yeah, no, he's tried to... No, he's... for those playing at home, he just rocked up at this podcast, so that's why we're taking the piss.
No, that's not... No, that's a lie.
Yeah, no, he's lying. Right. He's lying about us lying.
Of the repercussions.
Hey, Ice, how you going? How you going, Ice? Oh, I know he's fucking playing up.
Oh, wow.
He's here. He's having a fag. He's blowing smoke in my face.
Having a fag, more like having a dark eye. So. Fuck up.
There we go. You heard it.
We got
that
it.
was not
We got
superimposed
it.
at all.
We did it, boys.
Yeah, but no, Dark Eye's my main brother. One of my best mates. Not just in wrestling, but personally.
In general, real life.
Life. He's one of my life brothers. Yeah, obviously in wrestling as well, we've never had a bad match. We always gel so well. Fucking love him.
Second last one.
Yeah, right.
Chris Zeplin.
My brother, like my real brother. One of the funny things that people brought up is that in wrestling we spelled our surnames separately, differently.
His was with a double
he had 2 P's, I had 1 P. 1 P is how we actually spell it. That's my real name, Dan Zeplin with 1 P, no E. Not Zeppelin like Led Zeppelin.
What a sick surname, though. What a sick
surname.
Yeah,
how good is it? Yeah, Chris, you did so much for us back in the day. He was basically, the heart, or one of the hearts of ICWS and UWF. Priceless. He wouldn't have... UWF and ICWS would have been nowhere near the caliber it was without Chris.
Because otherwise it'd be like ICWS now with DJ involved. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, fucking terrible.
Oh
hey.
my god.
Can't stand that. But yeah, no, Chris was always been a priceless member of the federation, even though as much as a backstage entity as he was, even though he was a GM, he put in so much more than the general manager role backstage. He was, well, I guess technically he was actually the general manager. Yeah, but he did a whole lot backstage, so much more than we saw on stage.
Okay. Before we get to the last one, there's one question I actually do want to ask.
Okay.
And probably it's not really touchy because I know you and I know the reason, but maybe there's some people out there that aren't aware of what the reason is. But why is it that you have a certain thing on your cheek? It pushes out a little bit more than the other side does.
Oh yeah, that probably sounds really confusing. Basically,
I don't know what it's called, so that's why
technically it's a hyomangioma. That's what it's called. That's the the doctors. That's what the doctors call it. Basically, I have one fat cheek compared to the other. It's basically just like extra flesh in one of my cheeks than the other. For anyone watching who doesn't know me, you probably haven't noticed it in the videos. I don't think it's too noticeable.
Well, after knowing you for so long, I don't even think about it or even see it.
Yeah, that's it.
But when I first met
not really
you,
a big thing.
I will say this: when I first met you, the day that we're having our first match, I thought you'd already had a match.
Oh, yeah,
someone
I got
clocked
punched
you in the
or
face,
something.
and
Yeah.
I was like, "Shit, he's already fucking had a hardcore match or something."
Yeah, right. Yeah. No, but yeah, basically, one of my cheeks is fatter than the other. It's just something I was born with. I can't talk properly today.
Maybe he's born with it.
Yeah, maybe it's Maybelline. Yeah, no, it's I was born with a fat cheek. When I was born, it was way bigger than it is now. It was very, very noticeable. It was huge. But when I was little, I had an operation to make that smaller, and now it's slightly bigger than usual, but it's not too noticeable. As I said before, anyone watching who doesn't know me personally probably doesn't even know what I'm talking about. But yeah, one of my cheeks is fatter than the other.
I know some people have asked me before that don't know you. What happened? Did something happen?
Yeah.
No, nothing actually happened.
Yeah, it's just something I was born with.
There's just a little bit more flesh in there.
Yeah, that's basically it.
It's not a growth. It's not growing. It's
no,
anything like that.
Yeah, it's just sort of there. Yeah. Yeah, it's just extra flesh in my cheek, basically. Yeah, I was born with it. Used to be way bigger. Got made smaller. Now is how it is. It doesn't bother.
And a lot of things that are made bigger do become smaller.
Yeah, but big dick though.
That's a dick when it comes, and then afterward it goes small.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes.
But yeah. I don't know.
Anyway,
the people who know me will know what we're talking about. The people who don't know me are probably like, what are they talking about?
Now they might know. Now they might.
Well, now you know. If you've ever seen the videos and like, oh, his face looks disproportional. Yeah, it's just something I was born with.
And apparently,
it's not like painful. It's
He's
not
amazing at giving head.
Yeah, how good at giving head I am. Yeah, Crude will know.
Not that head. I meant the other one. The red nose.
Red nose?
The red nose.
What are you talking about?
The clitoris vagina.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Last one.
Well, yeah, what was your last one?
The last one is Dan Zeplin. As usual, I end it on that person's name.
You see, I knew that question was coming up, but I didn't think about it. I should have thought about it
until it came. Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Dan Zeplin.
I wish he was better at what he does. I'm always disappointed in my performances, and everyone always tells me that I shouldn't be. Everyone's like, "Oh, that was a sick match. That was, that segment was fucking wicked." But I'm always I think I have my standards too high for myself. I'm always so judgmental of myself. I wish, because whenever I have something coming up, I'm like, I want it to go this way. I want it, I want to say this, blah blah blah. And then it doesn't come out exactly how I expected it to. I'm like, oh, that was shit. That was, that match was not great. I don't know. I think I just have too high standards of myself. I'm very proud of the stuff I've done in the past, like the ICWS era, that sort of thing.
Yep.
But yeah, more recently, I really want to try and step up the entertainment factor of my wrestling, basically. Rather than just going out and wrestling as backyard wrestling often is. I want to try and bring up the entertainment value in my performances. And that's not only because I want to be a better wrestler and entertain everyone, but I also want to sort of practice for what my future career endeavors are, because I want to get into that sideshow performing and stuff like that. So I feel like wrestling can be sort of a launch pad for that. Like, it's a place for me to practice my like entertaining crowds and stuff like that. So I definitely want to try and emphasize the entertainment factor of what I'm doing in my future matches, which means I need to get back into wrestling, because I've been taking a break at the moment. I haven't wrestled for a few months. So yeah, I want to return. I want to get back into it. I want to entertain everyone. I think there's a lot more I can do, not in terms of storylines and championship shit like that, maybe. But yeah, I just want to come back. I want to entertain everyone. I want to try and work on my entertainment skills, stuff like that. Yeah, I want to be up there. Not necessarily championship-wise, stuff like that, main event. Don't need that. I just want to have fun in the yard. I want to entertain everyone.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well,
I guess that basically sums up my thoughts.
I think the best
on
is yet
myself.
to come. Personally,
well,
the best is yet to come.
I don't know about that.
I'm not saying we're expecting 2010 Dan Zeppelin with all heart and soul, as they say.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. I think 2010, 2011, even 2009, 2011 sort of era was probably my best era as a wrestler.
But as far as entertainment, the best.
But yeah, in the future, entertainment-wise, the best might be yet to come.
Okay, well, Dan,
hopefully.
Okay, end of the Q&A section. End of word association. We're done. We are done.
There we go. Hopefully, I covered everything I wanted to cover.
I think we've covered absolutely everything and almost everyone that came into path with you over the years.
So I did come into this podcast before. I think I mentioned before we started podcasting, I wanted to watch basically all the recaps of the shows that we've done, so that I could try and remind myself.
Yep, that was your homework
of everything. Yeah, that was supposed to be my homework. Because I honestly have a terrible memory and I can't remember very much. But I think once we got into the podcast, I remembered enough to hopefully discuss enough for this to be interesting.
And I hope you all enjoyed it.
Yeah, I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope it wasn't just sort of like a recap of what I've done, reminding you of what I've done before if you've seen all the previous stuff.
I think you've given some good insights.
Yeah, hopefully I gave enough insight, some opinions, a bit of juicy juice. Yeah, hopefully it was interesting for you guys. Yeah, that was my main thing coming into the podcast. I wanted it to be interesting rather than just like a recap of what I've done.
For your fans, your peers.
Like my page, Dan Zeplin Media. Facebook.com/Dan Zeplin Media. Like my page.
Like his page.
Yeah. Cheap plug, shit plug.
And then he'll enjoy that.
Yeah.
Alright, Dan, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we're currently shaking hands.
We're shaking hands.
And I want to thank you for your time. Part 4 now with Dan
Thank you.
Zeplin, the Cannibal, done. Thank you very much for being a part of this.
Excellent. It was a pleasure.
Got it all done. So now, man, this is like Pokemon. I've got to catch them all.
Yeah, that's it.
You know, I've done Dark Ice. I've done Daniel Johnston, Dan Zeppelin, Ryan Tate, Alex Stone, Clint Marshall, JD Flame. My gosh, who's going to be next? Well, I don't even know.
And I feel like we've got a lot more to discuss in podcasts. Like, not related to me, but just in backyard wrestling in general.
We could probably do more.
We sort of know the most about backyard wrestling in Australia, if you know what I mean. Like, we're the most involved. Like, I was sort of the guy online for ICWS. You are sort of the guy for WCW and GBYWN, of course.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like
there's more that we
there's a whole lot to be discussed. You know, not related to either of us, just about backyard wrestling in general. Yeah.
So we could probably try and think of some sort of idea in the future.
That's
maybe,
it. Plenty more to come.
Maybe we'll smoke up a bit of Mr. Green's best. And,
Way to go!
And maybe that'll be pretty funny.
That's what you want.
Me, you, and Acid will get together.
Oh, Acid.
That will never happen.
Good luck.
Never happen. Anyway, thank you for listening to the GBYWN Australia podcast, Part 4 with Dan Zeppelin. I believe this will be episode 36 or 37. I can't remember where I'm at now, but either or, it doesn't matter. You'll see it in the title. So thank you for listening to the GBYWN Australia podcast. I'm Aston Creed.